Wildcats. Later on this week, Carolina survives and plays on.
That's what it sounded like as the Carolina Tar Heels punched their ticket to the Super Regionals College Baseball World Series earlier this week. It was actually yesterday. This is what it sounds like when you're not Adam Gold. I'm Tim Donnelly, sitting in for Adam here on the Adam Gold Show. You still have Victoria along the way.
Yes, I'm here.
And we're excited. I'm excited, I should say.
It's, what is today? Tuesday.
I
don't know what day.
probably shouldn't put words in Victoria's mouth. She's excited to work with me. No,
I
I'm
know,
excited.
Of course I am.
I'm
always.
excited to work with Victoria. Hopefully you all are as well. And it's also exciting for a few reasons. One, earlier today, not only is the ACC and the state of North Carolina in a lot of ways the center of the college baseball world, take that Southeastern Conference.
Yeah.
It just means more to make the tourney and get bounced. Not only is that an exciting part, but we heard from Eric Tulski and Rod Brindamore, Carolina Hurricanes GM, Carolina Hurricanes head coach, in their exit interviews. They spoke to the press today. I like that they separate the players and the coach and GM. Did the players last week, get the coach and GM this week, because the players have so little control at this point, right? The players, when you talk to them, there's a lot of, well, we'll see, and oh, I hopes, and those types of things. They're going on their vacations, their home countries. They'll be taking a break. But that's a lot of reflection. When you talk with Eric Tulski and you talk with Rod Brindamore, and we have audio for you that will bring you, obviously, they can speak more, if they so choose, definitively about what this offseason is going to look like.
Right.
And I can tell you right now, and I can only imagine what Adam has to deal with, because Adam is so entrenched in the Carolina Hurricanes. And this is no disrespect to those making it, but the off-the-wall, outside-the-box, ridiculous in some ways, expectations for what the Carolina Hurricanes are going to do this offseason. Right? I get the trade calculators, you know what I'm talking about, online.
Oh, yeah.
I get the screenshot sent to me on social media, which is the definition of we're going to trade like 15 nickels for $2, right?
Yeah.
Like who says no? And it's like a couple of firsts, a couple of young players, Kotkaniemi, Pyotr Kochetkov, and we get back Nathan McKinnon. And it's just like,
okay.
All right.
Yeah, about that.
The numbers add up. The salaries work. And I'm like, yeah, the common sense doesn't.
And then you wake up.
And it's fun. And by the way, everybody does it. If you do go to one of those calculators online for any sport, you start with something logical. Maybe 2 firsts. Maybe we can get a nice, second line winger. You start doing that, and then by the end,
oh, it's just crazy.
we have no depth. I have every all-star, which actually that's a good transition. Every coach, every GM has their fallbacks, right? You might call them crutches. In our business, we call them crutches. If you have, I had a buddy in my comm school that used to just say, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You ask him a question? Absolutely. Absolutely, Victoria, absolutely. And then he'd answer. By the way, his answer might be no.
Right, but it always started with absolutely.
Oh, absolutely, Victoria, absolutely. No. And it was just while he collected his thoughts. Or maybe there was something in his head that he didn't want to say.
Yeah.
So he had to cover it up with something while that thought went into his brain and out of his brain. Eric Tulski, I don't want to say it's that, right? It's not like he's having a hard time public speaking. Not that public speaking is a part of his job as a GM. But I know what he says when he has real thoughts going through his brain about roster construction, but he rightfully doesn't want to spill the beans. His line is this: until we have the 20 best players in the league, we're going to keep looking. We're going to keep working.
Right.
So if you ask him about, say, right now, Dmitry Orlov, or you ask him right now about Brent Burns, you're going to get something generic about the players, and then you're going to get, until we have the 20 best players on the roster, because there's stuff there that he doesn't want to say.
Yeah.
For that audio, we do have that clip, correct?
Yes, we have all kinds.
Eric Tulski on making offers, or if he will make offers to Burns or Orlov this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, so we've talked to the agents of every free agent we have. Those conversations are ongoing. We have 4 weeks left until July 1st to try and get deals done, and we'll see how that goes.
We'll see. We'll see.
It's if you don't have something nice to say, that's what grandmas tell you when you're young. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. I think the situation, the tea leaves tell us that it's definitely unlikely Dmitry Orlov is back, and there would have to be a lot of conversations about role and cost and where you will be skating, how often you will be skating if you bring back Brent Burns. That's not to say that there isn't a core returning. That's not to say that there aren't conversations about maybe like an Eric Robinson who's an unrestricted free agent coming back. There's other conversations to have, but those two guys, that to me, the non-committal is everything. And I'll put it this way. We're going to play later in the show the Rod Brindamore clips because he also spoke to the media. I kind of like that Eric Tulski and Rod Brindamore seem to respect each other, get along. They can talk to each other. They can, it seems like they have the type of relationship where they might disagree on some things, but they do it respectfully and they can work together and they trust each other. They also, just having them sit at the desk next to each other.
Yeah.
And this is no disrespect to either, just different strokes for different folks. I don't think if they were in high school together, they'd be sitting at the same lunch table. You know what I mean?
No, I could see that.
And sometimes I like that because there can be a distance. If the GM and the head coach are best friends and they do everything together and they finish each other's sentences and they vacation together and they do everything together, then the Brent Burns situation becomes tough. Because if Eric Tulski doesn't re-sign him, it's like, what the heck, Rod?
Right.
But if you pay attention to it, Rod was praising Brent. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's great. I think he's got
to bring him back. Yeah.
I think he's got all that. And even like he might want to bring him back. He also might recognize there's no way in heck they can bring him back. But that way he can be the good cop and Tulski can be the bad cop.
Sure.
And Tulski can go, well, we're looking to get the 20 best players in the league on our roster. And until we do that, we're going to keep working, which means there's not many 20 best players in the league on the roster at all. We can debate how many or if there are, but Brent Burns isn't one of them, at least not now.
Right.
There was a point in time where he would be in that conversation, but not now. More audio from Eric Tulski in his exit interviews. This seems to be something that everybody wants to rewrite in history. Eric Tulski was asked if he thought the team would make the playoffs this season. And, of course, we're going back to when he assembled the roster. Here's Eric Tulski's response.
So Rod and I came out from a different place, right? He knows the players on this team as well as anybody in the world does. And we saw some really good players leave, and that made him nervous, right? And as someone overseeing the management staff, our job was mostly to understand the rest of the league. And I knew we were bringing in players who were going to fit and were going to be really good. And it's just, that's the difference in perspective. Like, of course, there's always a risk. You never know for sure how it's going to go. But I knew coming in, we were in position to keep taking steps forwards and was comfortable with the team we had built.
Talk your trash, Tulski. Do it. Do it. Talk. We used to say talk your ish.
Stuff you can't say on the radio.
Do it.
Yeah.
Right? The thing is, everybody from the outside, and even Rod Brindamore admitted this, when Pesci's gone, and Shea's gone, and Gensel's gone, and Nason's gone, and on and on and on and on, and all these guys left this offseason, this past offseason, that the expectation was there was going to be a step back. Eric Tulski saying, well, I knew what we were bringing in, and I knew what we had. That's him saying, no, I'm good at my job.
Yeah.
I knew we had to get cheaper. I knew we had to get younger. I knew we weren't taking a step back. Is a gangster thing to say from a front office perspective.
Yes. Especially from Eric.
Hey.
I love
Are you
it.
saying he's not a gangster?
No, I love his, he owns it, but in his own way. He's a scientist, but he's like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about, though. I love it.
Yeah, he's like, no, we weren't going to take a step back. It may have looked like it to you, but you don't have my perspective.
Right. You don't have my brain.
Yeah, you didn't see the vision. That's such a, imagine if a GM says that in a sport where maybe bravado is a bit more, I don't know, celebrated. If an NBA or an NFL GM lost a whole bunch of Pro Bowlers, a whole bunch of guys that signed huge free agent deals and was like, yeah, but you don't know what I'm cooking up.
Right.
You don't know about Jack Roslovic getting hot for the first 2 months.
Just wait.
You don't know about Jackson Blake.
Mm-hmm. You don't know my life.
You don't know. There are some questions. This is kind of more nuts and bolts of it. Seth Jarvis, shoulder injury, the same one that seems to have been being dealt with for the past 2 years. He has an off season where, once again, I guess there's a surgery question that's being asked, although unlikely. Tulski was asked during his end of the season presser what the organizational decision on Jarvis's shoulder injury is, and this is what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an organizational decision; it's a personal decision. It's his medical care, and he's going to do what's best for him and the team. And if he wants to rehab it and strengthen it and keep playing, he was very effective this year, and optimistic that'll continue going forwards, and that he'll keep helping us compete for a championship.
Yeah, to me, Jarvis, first of all, I think that's like CBA negotiated.
Yes.
Right? You don't get to decide on someone else's medicals. I'm sure you'd want to be a part of those conversations, but there's no reason for you to make the decisions. I think Jarvis has earned the right. Jarvis was good this year. I think a lot of us would have leaned surgery maybe even last year, especially with how young he is, and you want to get those things taken care of before you're older.
Right.
But if you're going to go out and score 30 goals,
yeah,
one-handed, two-handed,
yeah.
One-footed,
three-toed,
wearing an eye patch, if you're going to score 30 goals and you're 23 years old, we're just going to depend on you. Last bit of audio here from Eric Tulski. He was asked, in terms of cap space, are there areas on the roster to improve?
There's always room for improvement, right? I've said it before, until we have the 20 best players in the league, there's still room to get better. And we're going to keep working towards that, right? Every time we see an opportunity to bring in someone who we think helps us take a step forwards, we're going to take advantage of that.
There it is.
I know. Love it.
The only quip I have with his mantra that he repeats to himself, to get through pressers. Until we have the 20 best players in the league, we're going to keep trying to improve. We're going to keep trying to get the roster to that place. Is you don't blind, there has to be areas, right? If for example, if you have, say, this is not about them, but I'm hypotheticaling just to tell the point a little easier. If you have the second best left winger in the league, sixth best player, right? Just that this player doesn't exist. I'm just making it up. And you have the opportunity to bring in the best left winger in the league, who's the second best player. You don't spend a ton of money to go from 6 to 2, right? You don't give 6 and 7 picks to go from 6 to 2. Especially if, I don't know, your fourth defenseman is the 180th best player in the league,
right?
And you can go up to 30th there, which isn't a top 20 player in the league, but you get 150 spots better, and you get a whole line that you depend on more, a whole pairing that you depend on more. It's not just getting better. There is and has to be an order of operations, a priority list. Hey, we're going to explore every option to get one of the 20 best players. It's like, well, sometimes having 2 30 best players is better than having 120 best. You have to improve your roster at a rate. So I get that he's not really saying anything when he says it. He's just pointing out that he's going to, answer every phone call and talk to every whatever. It's
definitely written on his wall somewhere.
It's just a nice thing. It's a nice thing. Nobody's going to get mad at that.
No, you can't get mad at that.
No, it's I used to say this about drafting an offensive lineman in the first round. Nobody complains about it because, A, nobody knows how good offensive linemen really are.
Right.
And everyone will tell you that you need to have a good offensive line no matter what you have going on. So if a GM is ever nervous, I'm like, just take the best offensive lineman on the board, and your fans will go like, okay, no, that's good. That's
right.
good. It's a solid. It's not
Can't
flashy.
hate it.
It's not the sexiest, but
we'll take it.
You need offense, and that's a good pick. It's a good pick.
Yeah.
I don't know why I gave him that accent. That's kind of like saying we're going to try to get the 20 best players in the roster.
I know.
Okay, yeah, no, I like where his head's. I mean, the 20 best, that would be a very good team.
Right.
That'd be if you could do it, it'd be it's like, yeah. Didn't actually say anything.
That was Tulski's answer, too, when he was asked about going after, these key players, goal scorers, too. He's like, well, we're going
to get the best.
Yeah.
He also said they asked him about, you don't have a 40-plus goal scorer. Do you need one?
Right.
Rod's answer was like, everybody would love to have that.
Everybody wants one.
Tulski got a little, this is why you go to the talking points. He got a little, and he was like, I don't know if you asked Florida or Edmonton Do you need to have a 40-goal scorer? I'm like, well, of course, Edmonton doesn't. They
have McDavid.
They've got one. Like,
yeah, what are you talking about?
I have a car. I don't need a car. It's when you don't have a car that you need to go buy a car.
Exactly.
But
yeah. It was funny. You could tell it got him. Those questions get him too.
I mean, I don't want to say it got him like it, rattled him or anything, but I do think he got going down a path and he was like, "How am I going to land this plane?"
Yeah, no. When he started his response, he was like, he was ready for it. I should say he was ready for that question to be asked.
But he did say, like, people say that we need it or we're aware we need it. I'm like, well, if everybody looks at your roster and says the same thing, maybe it's not because we're making stuff up and are unaware. But we don't have his vision. Flex on him. Flex on him, Tulski. We don't see the future like you do.
Nope.
The Adam Gold Show continuing on a Tuesday. I'm Tim Donnelly, sitting in for Adam today. You hear the familiar voice of Victoria, as always. The other news, you heard it during our intro. Duke and UNC hosting Super Regionals.
Right.
Both of them, center of the baseball universe. NC State got eliminated, but they went down with some highlights. There was the Grand Slam. There were some other things going on. ECU got eliminated, but they made some waves as well. I'm going to start with this. I am a diehard ACC fan.
Yes.
ACC country. I would have played my college football in the ACC if anyone wanted me. Instead, I went to what we called the ACC of the FCS, the CAA. It's the complete reverse. ACC, CAA. We flipped it. That's where I went. But Carolina fans were chanting ACC, ACC, ACC at Oklahoma as the game ended yesterday for the Tar Heels to send home the Sooners and advance to the Super Regionals. The ACC in this tournament, 21-9. I believe they are 8-4. Don't quote me on that. There were some games still finishing up, maybe like 9-6, 9-5 against the SEC. That is a statement from the ACC in regards to how the baseball universe should look at things. The Atlantic Coast Conference, the ACC, has a nation's best 5 teams in the 2025 Super Regionals. UNC, which we just talked about, Duke, who's hosting for the first time, Florida State, Louisville, and Miami. The SEC, meanwhile, this is going to be fun to say. The SEC, meanwhile, had 14 teams get in, and only 4 make the Super Regionals.
Uh-oh.
They not only broke the record for most teams to make it to the NCAA tournament, they broke the record for most teams eliminated in regionals, and they did not break. They don't even break the record for this year for most teams in the Super Regional.
Wow.
And I'll say, I think baseball, right? The whole NIL, and I know everybody has an opinion. Should players get paid? Shouldn't they? How should it be regulated? Why did it get here? Should there be revenue share? I'm not here to talk about any of that right now as far as what should or shouldn't happen. But I do think baseball is one of the sports where it should be the easiest to buy wins.
Yeah.
Because there's a limited amount of scholarships. So if you're able to pay players at least the amount of a scholarship, then you should be cleaning up, right? Because would you rather take a third of a scholarship at this Power 5 program or the NIL equivalent of a scholarship plus at this program? You should have all the best talent. And the SEC just brags about money.
Always.
It should be the easiest one. Mm-hmm. It should be the easiest one. The SEC, O'Connor, the coach from UVA, who was a legend at UVA, just got hired away by Mississippi State, flexing cash. But then the ACC, without all their money, is like, oh, wait. You still got to play the game. And that's what UNC did to send home Oklahoma.
Good job.
Let's hear from Scott Forbes, shall we? Scott Forbes, UNC coach, on the experience factor of playing in these high-leverage games.
I would have preferred, obviously, to have won it yesterday and rested, but I just woke up, unfortunately, yesterday and just had this feeling, hey, obviously we feel like we had a chance to win, but I just thought, man, this thing might go to Monday, so we have to make the right decisions in the game and make sure we have these 2 horses ready and stay positive. But, yeah, I mean, that's good for you. We did it in 22. We did it last year. And I tell the guys, it's this time of year you have to expect hard. If you pull away like we did, that's awesome. I enjoy that, but it's not as the harder it is. These guys know the harder you have to work for it, the more gratifying it is.
Well, in that case, their win to advance to the Super Regional, not that gratifying.
Yeah.
They were up 8-2 smooth and ended up winning 14-4.
Right.
It's a weird game to sit after and go, the harder it is, the more gratifying it is. Today, no, that was easy.
Yeah.
We had a guy go 5+, pitched really well. Bullpen did their thing. Guys were hitting home runs all over the place.
Somebody took a nap at one point.
I have a quote here from Oklahoma's coach, who they just eliminated, Skip Johnson. Unprompted. Okay, that's the way it's being reported. At the end of his presser after the game, you guys have a team here that can win a national championship. I can tell you that they are good.
All right.
Oklahoma, for part of it is they just spanked Oklahoma. So Oklahoma coach going like, you might be the best team in the country, makes that loss feel a little bit less bad. But still, just to have a competitor say that right after a game, I think that shows how good UNC is. They're the 5th-ranked team in the country for a reason. Duke, on the other hand, they're hosting Murray State in the Super Regional. Murray State, not expected to advance out, but apparently they're very good. Like, they dominated their conference, and they're like a mid-major that scares you, is what I'm getting at. You want to hear the dumbest thing that happened?
Yes.
I don't host the Adam Gold Show often, but I'm not sure he the goal was in the first half hour to say the dumbest thing that happened.
Yeah.
But hey, this is what happens. Duke might have to play their Super Regional without one of their best hitters.
Wow. AJ
Garcia. For a real, even if you don't follow college baseball, I'm going to explain how dumb this is. So it happened in football. Remember turnover chains and how everyone had like a turnover prop? That swept through college baseball, only it was the home run prop, right?
Yes.
So, you hit a home run, you go grab the sledgehammer. You hit a home run, you get a chain put on your neck, whatever it is. And Duke's is a hard hat. So if Duke hits a home run, you put on a hard hat, and they're, yay, and then they probably smack you in the head, right, just to show off their blue collar, right? That's what everybody thinks of when they think of Duke University.
Right.
Blue-collar laborers.
Absolutely what I think.
Manual. They work well with their hands.
Yeah.
That's reputation, stereotype. The rule that has been put in place for these props is they can't leave the dugout. Okay? So you can't run out and hand somebody the sword as they step on home base.
Right.
So AJ Garcia, boom, hits a home run, brings them within one. Big home run. They follow all of the rules. He goes around the bases. He touches home plate. He goes all the way into the dugout. He puts on the hard hat. Yay! All rules followed. Couple of batters later, RBI single, right? Big run in the game. He's still wearing the hard hat. He takes 2 steps out of the dugout. Just not now. Keep in mind, nobody is celebrating him.
Sure.
Nobody is putting him up. Nobody's high-fiving him. He just steps up to high-five a teammate and takes I wouldn't even call it a full 2, like a step and a half.
Okay.
Out of the dugout. Ump sees it. Player with the prop gets ejected. The home run prop on an RBI single.
Wow.
Gets ejected. And the ejection comes with a 1-game suspension. The next game is one of the biggest baseball games in Duke baseball history. They've never hosted, let alone a super regional, they've never hosted a regional, including this year. They had to do all this in Athens. That's absurd.
It's crazy.
That is absurd.
Let's use common sense.
I use this difference a lot. It's the spirit of the rule versus the letter of the law. The letter of the law says if you step out of the dugout with a home run prop, you're ejected. The spirit of the rule says we're trying to prevent taunting, and if no taunting is going on, I issue a warning.
It's not malicious.
Because now Duke's going up against Murray State, Super Regional, all the marbles, all those sorts of things, and they might not have their guy for the first game. And he's like, he hit a home run to close the lead to 1. He's a guy that can change the game in your favor. So I ask of you, umpires and NCAA, please be better.
Use your brain.
And we'll try to be better throughout the Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly, hosting the Adam Gold Show today, sitting in for Adam. Victoria will be along, making sure we stay on the tracks here, at least as much as we can. 3 days ago, or 2 days ago, depending on how you look at it. Today's June 3rd. How many days ago was June 1st?
Well, two and a half-ish.
All right, there we go. On June 1st, speaking of UNC, their football team and their football fans, more specifically, should be a little on edge. Just a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you why coming up right here on the Adam Gold Show.
From the heels.
Touchdown, Carolina.
To the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Champions are crowned in June. The NBA Finals.
The Oklahoma City Thunder going to the finals for the first time in 13 years.
The Stanley Cup Finals.
The Florida Panthers are on their way back to the Stanley Cup Final.
The U.S. Open.
And strokes the putt up the hill into the middle. 2 times a U.S. Open champion, Bryce DeChambeau.
And the College World Series. Your home for championship action all month long. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
We're officially kicking off a new month, and June brings perfect weather, longer days, and a prime time to break that motorcycle out. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and honestly, this has always been one of my favorite months to plan a group ride or just take the bike out for an evening ride to unwind after work. However, we are approaching summer, which means there's going to be way more people on the roads, and unfortunately opens the door for accidents to happen. But if you're ever in an accident on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault, please always remember to call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, so they understand. They know the value of your bike and your gear and the investment that you've made. Plus, they know what it's like to go through an accident. Case evaluations are always free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Westwood One Sports presents this special tennis update. It's the match the fans in Paris wanted to see, and they will. Thursday, women's singles semifinals, Aryna Sabalenka versus Iga Swiatek, the number 1 ranked player against the 3-time defending champion. Sabalenka had to lose a set, though it was not easy against Qin Wen-jung, who last year won the Olympic gold medal at Roland Garros. Sabalenka pulled it out 7-6, 6-3. Swiatek won her quarterfinal match with Elina Svitolina 6-1, 7-5, extending her French Open win streak to 26 matches in a row. The question for the men today, can the Americans keep it going? Francis Tiafoe and Tommy Paul both in the quarterfinals. Best U.S. showing since 1996. Tiafoe split the first 2 sets with Italy's Lorenzo Musetti in the 3rd set. No service breaks until the 12th game. Musetti broke, won 7-5. He leads 2-1. Paul starts his quarterfinal match with Carlos Alcaraz in a couple of hours. John Stanshauer, Westwood One Sports.
The Jeep brand has always stood for American freedom. And now we're standing with you with Employee Pricing Plus. Hurry into your Jeep brand dealer for details today and join the family. Jeep, there's only one. Offer valid on select 2024 and 2025 Jeep brand vehicles for non-FCA employees and retirees. $200 admin fee applies. Not all buyers will qualify. Restrictions apply. Does not apply to leases. Ends 6/30/25. Jeep is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
The DQ Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Baskets have more flavor than your taste buds know what to do with. We start with all white meat, breaded, seasoned, and fried to crunchy perfection. Next, we double down and toss them in honey barbecue or new buffalo sauce. Serve them up with DQ fries, Texas toast, and house-made Hidden Valley Ranch, and you've got flavor on flavor on flavor. Get the Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Basket in honey barbecue or new buffalo right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
This is Adam Gold.
80-second mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth, why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it in Finnish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
All right, 2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes.
And I went, oh, that's why. That's what.
The Adam Gold Show.
This is the Adam Gold Show. I'm not Adam Gold. In case you couldn't tell.
What? I thought that was Adam. Say something about soccer.
I tried so hard to avoid the low-hanging fruit. I go, you see that UEFA championship?
Exactly. Lionel Messi, just throw that name out.
Hey, Lionel, he's good.
He is. No, he's great. He's phenomenal.
Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
That guy.
Got nothing.
That guy.
I have a cousin that coached soccer for a long time.
Oh, nice.
He was a scout for Man U for a while.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. If he were here, he could tell you something about soccer, but he is not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show, like I said, I'm Tim Donnelly. I host The Drive with myself, Tim Donnelly, every afternoon. If you're outside of the Triangle area, you can catch it on our YouTube live stream. You can go look at our streaming. Like, there's a bunch of different ways to listen to it. If you're in the Triangle, just 99.9 The Fan. It's the frequency that you can catch this show and my show every single day. So I encourage you all to check it out. If you're, like I said, if you're outside the Triangle, you probably got to, type in something. 99.9 The Fan. Look for it
but it'll
somewhere.
Be there.
That's all it is. Yeah. That's all we got. As of, I don't know if 2.5 days ago, I think is what we decided.
Mm-hmm.
June 1st, UNC football fans, you have every right to be uneasy. I rarely advocate for going full Chicken Little, going full, this guy is falling. No. But if your antennas are up and you're a little worried, like the second time you hear a noise in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
First time, something blew over.
Yeah, you make an excuse.
Something happened.
Some weird.
Second time, it's like, all right, I'm not getting out of bed because I'm cozy.
But I'm alert.
But my antennas are up,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's where UNC fans should be. Bill Belichick's buyout dropped from $10 million. So this is the coaching side buyout, by the way. Not if they fire Bill Belichick, they have to pay him. It's if he leaves UNC, he has to pay them. The Bill Belichick buyout dropped from $10 million to $1 million earlier this week.
It's a big difference.
$10 million? That's pretty good. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care if you're worth $100+ million. Just cutting a check for $10 million is a pretty good opposite of incentive. Decentive.
Yes.
There you go. Making up words.
It's fine.
Pretty good motivation to stay. $1 million if you're worth $100 million. I don't know what Bill Belichick is, but I know he's making double-digit millions for a long time as a coach, and I assume has been pretty good with his money. $1 million is palatable. $1 million is palatable.
Apparently, his net worth is $70 million.
All right, $1 million, a lot more. 1/7 of your net, or 1/70th.
Yep.
1/10 of your net.
Something like that.
People that listen to my show know on-air math never ends well. I don't know why. I can't stop from doing it.
We need Tulski, Eric Tulski.
I just need somebody in right there. Or Eric Eager for the Panthers. For those, he's like their quant. I'm going to point to you. You're going to tell me the answer to my math questions. Mm-hmm. He's actually like the vice president of analytics, so smart guy.
Fancy.
That's a big difference, is kind of what all of my jibber-jabbering about math was supposed to tell you. That's a big difference. And it's in a contract. If this were just something that popped up, if this were standard, if this were like the boilerplate contract and it happened, I would think nothing of it. Because Bill Belichick has not said or done anything that makes us think that he is not going to coach UNC this year. But in a contract, like lawyers get paid a lot of money to look over the entire contract.
Yeah, they do.
To agree, you got to initial just I mean, you ever sign up for a cell phone? Like you got to initial 150 times.
Yeah.
Like for something that small. If you are going to become the highest paid state employee, if you are going to become the leader of a very recognizable brand, if you are being tasked with competing against the biggest brands in college football, every inch of that contract will be looked over and negotiated. So the fact that in his contract, months before he ever coaches a game, his buyout went from $10 million to $1 million, tells me it was haggled.
Mm-hmm.
Like they ended there and probably had to give something else up to get there, right? He had to have conversations. His agent had to negotiate to end there. And why would you want it to drop? Because if I'm the coach and I just took a job and I'm pretty confident I like the job, I'm not using that as a trade piece. I'm going, all right, I want my buyout to drop after year number 1. That makes sense for a few reasons. One, if you go, 12-0 and make the college football playoff and win the ACC, then yeah, everybody's going to want you and they're going to want you for a whole bunch of money. So, okay, yeah, all right. And by the way, UNC would take that. If you get a ACC championship, CFP, you prove it can be done, perfect. See ya. We'll get another coach in here, but now our expectations have been raised. For you to say, I want the buyout to drop before, I'm sure UNC goes, why not after?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go, no, well, actually, you can have this thing that you want. I want the earlier buyout. Like, that's how it works. Why would you use any negotiation leverage to have it now? And if you remember, they took a while. He agreed to be the coach. He was announced as the coach, and the contract hadn't been signed for weeks after because, iron out the details, right? Oh, we did the same thing with so-and-so, like the other coaches that we have. This was a haggled-over contract. Why would you end it here for your buyout? It makes so little sense to have the buyout drop before you even coach a game. And gambling's legal in the state of North Carolina now, so I can use a gambling analogy. I dabble. I'll put it that way. So I'm speaking from experience. Every once in a while, there's like a line set or an odd set that don't make any sense.
None at all.
Teams on a 5-game winning streak, teams on a 5-game losing streak. They're playing each other, and somehow it's a pick'em. And the 5-0 win streak is at home, and it's a pick'em.
Right. What do they know that I don't know?
That's exactly what I go to. If something doesn't make sense, the odds makers usually know something. Especially if like all of the public money is being bet on the team that's 5-0, but the line isn't moving, right? It's all right. What do they know? Who's hurt that we don't know about yet? Is the weather like something is going on? Those are just two super obvious examples. If we couldn't figure that out, it would be dumb. But you start thinking what, and then I usually don't bet on those games because I'm like, no, Vegas knows something. They're inviting my money. I'm not a sheep.
Right.
So maybe gambling has locked me into this. It's taught me this. But if there's something out there that doesn't make any sense to me, I go, all right, there's something I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. Knowing what you don't know is important. The buyout dropping from $10 million to $1 million months before he coaches his first game doesn't make sense to me. Thus, I'm assuming there's something I don't know. Now, what is that? There could be a million things, right? Could be that the school just wanted to get through the entire NFL hiring process. And they knew after the draft, after free agency, everybody would have their head coach. No one would be looked. So maybe they asked for that. That's a possibility. Is it likely? I don't think so, because why wouldn't you ask for more? But maybe it's that. Maybe it's Bill Belichick really wasn't sure if he was going to like college, and he wanted to get through an offseason of recruiting and transfer portal, and then he wanted to be able to bail if he was having the worst time of his life. Maybe there's something involved with his 24-year-old girlfriend. I don't want to go down that path, but maybe.
Can't rule it out.
There's something I don't know. And if there were anything important that I didn't know about the coach of my favorite team, I'd be uneasy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be uneasy. I wouldn't, again, not the sky is falling, but if I were an odds maker,
All right.
if I were Vegas, I'd move the odds a little bit more in favor of him potentially not coaching a game at UNC. Still would be long odds. You'd still get paid a good amount if you bet that Bill Belichick was never going to coach for UNC. But the odds of it say it's more likely now than 4 days ago.
Definitely raises an eyebrow.
That's insane. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, you'll learn this about me if you tune into to my show, or I'm on this one more. I don't like when logic and reason don't add up.
Yeah.
Usually there's a very simple, very on the surface reason for why something happened. We may have missed it, but like in retrospect, we go, oh, there it is. I don't like when that piece is missing. And this is definitely it. So if you hear the frustration in my voice.
Yeah. I mean, something's awry.
That's what's going on.
Something weird is happening, and I need to know about this.
Somebody in Chapel Hill.
Yes.
You could DM me from a burner.
They know something.
From Tar Heel 4597.
They've seen it.
I won't be able to go on air unless you give me more cited sources.
Right.
But it would make me feel better.
Right.
This is the Adam Gold Show, and we have one-timers coming up next. I look forward to one-timers every single time I step in for Adam. Victoria will shoot some one-timers coming up next.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Have you ever heard of paramedics who don't just respond to emergencies, but work to prevent them? The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. Cape Fear Valley Health's Community Paramedic Program is a groundbreaking initiative where paramedics aren't just transporting patients, they're building bridges to better care, right from the patient's living room. Here's Cape Fear's Alinda Bailey.
We're not just asking, what's your medical emergency? We're asking, do you have problems obtaining your medicines? Can you get to your appointments? Are you safe? Are you supported? We try to identify not only the medical needs, the mental health needs, but also the social determinants that play a factor in the care of our patients and clients.
Join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. What day is it? It's Tuesday, but it's not just Tuesday at FanDuel. It's Dinger Tuesdays, and all FanDuel customers get a home run profit boost, like a profit big fly, a profit long ball, a profit tater. And that means when you bet on those home runs, you take your winnings to new heights. FanDuel.com/AGS, FanDuel.com/AGS. Yankees are home to Cleveland. There will be home runs hitting that one. Make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
This is is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year. Yes.
You had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
All for the intro. This is the Adam Gold Show. I'm not Adam Gold. Tim Donnelly, the host of
It's close.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Yeah.
You could have fooled me.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Our voices don't sound alike. This is the Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly sitting in for Adam, Victoria producing, and as I said before the break, I look forward to this every time I get to sit in this chair for this show. It's time for one-timers.
Okay. Like I like to remind people, you can find us on YouTube, and you can give us some one-timers there. If you have a question, you can add me on the Twitters, either or, so I am always looking. And we do have a few on YouTube, so starting with Christopher. He wants to know, seeing that New Jersey has a superstar forward and a goalie that was once a Vezina Trophy finalist, is it now time for the Devils to keep Carolina from sniffing the SCF? No.
Oh, so this question was will the Devils be standing in the way of the Canes?
Of us as the Canes. Yeah.
Wow. The way that was going, I thought they were going to ask, is this the time for an in-division trade? Should the Carolina Hurricanes try to knock the socks off of the Devils because a forward and a goalie might be some things that they would be in the market for? But then at the end, it spun back and said, well, the Devils get in their way. Listen, we don't know. There's obviously the lazy box score watcher would just say, did you see the first round? But that's being disrespectful to the Devils because they were so hurt. With that being said, they do have a few guys that, would colloquially be known as made of glass. So, like, if hurt guys are often hurt and they're hurt in the postseason, are we supposed to act surprised? I don't see it. I think the Devils can be a good team for a while. I mean, Hughes, yes, he's good. But I don't see them from a cult. Like, it took a long time for the Canes to build what they are as a, structural, foundational thing. And the Devils, to get there, have a little bit of a way to go. So I don't think it's happening in the next year or two.
All right, well, moving on to Will. He wants to know, do you think that a top 6 forward will be in the mix for any possible trades? KK doesn't count in parentheses.
A top 6 of the okay, so not trading for a top 6 forward, trading away a top 6 forward. I'll put it this way. I think there's 2. I mean, we're including the Stahl line as line 3, right? So that's not top 6. I know they don't number their lines, but I just want to be clear here. There are some no questions asked, going to stay players out of the top 6. I think there are probably 2 in Aho and Jarvis. I think everybody else there's a number. And I know that, even a Stankoven feels like they're in love right now, but Svetch would, to me, here's the Svetch argument, because I know that's what I don't know why you said top 6 forward. I know you were just talking about Svetch. Here's the argument for Svetch. We watched the regular season. If you can distract somebody from Svetch's regular season with his postseason, this might be a sell high opportunity. If you are a cold-blooded GM, like I believe Eric Tulski is, who he ain't making friends, he's making moves.
Till we get the top 20 players.
Exactly. You just, Svetch was just the second leading scorer in the postseason through 2 rounds of the Stanley Cup playoffs. It was Mikko Rantanen on an all-time heater against his old team, the Colorado Avalanche. And 1 goal behind him was Andrei Svechnikov. I'm not saying this mean to Andre. I don't think Andre is that player anymore. I think injuries have sapped him of some things. I think we all still, because he's still young, which is part of the reason why his trade value would be super high. We still have dreams of him getting there. if you don't believe he does, now's the time to move, right? Because to get something great back, you have to give up something of value.
Mm-hmm.
We hear so many of the outlandish trades. I've seen somebody sent me the other day a trade where it ended up with the Canes receiving Pasta and Twayman from Boston. But to this person on Twitter's kind of credit, gave up some real stuff to make it happen. Like darn near all the first round picks. I don't remember the exact. Svetch, Piotr, Scott Morrow. Like there were a lot of names on there. I still don't think that happens. But if you want to bring back a stud, you have to give up something real. I like Svetch. I think when he turns it on and has those shifts where he goes like full strength directly to the front of the net, I'm going to score. I love it.
And if he's healthy.
I also yell at the screen every time. Do that every time.
Right. Where was that at?
Don't you do it all the time? But I do think there is a what's the opposite of buy the dip? Like sell high. I think there's a sell high moment for Svetch. So if there's one to go, I think that might be it. Not predicting it, but possibly.
Yeah. Well, moving on. I love this person's name. For betters or worse. I always love
for betters or worse.
Should the Panthers, we're talking about the Carolina Panthers, try to trade for Jonnu Smith with the Steelers no longer interested to get another target for Bryce Young?
My short answer is no. My longer answer is the players you acquire right now, you've got a nice core, okay? But that's all it is. There's still, if you're looking at the Carolina Panthers roster, the way I look at it is I don't want anyone coming in and being a part of this core that's older than like 27, right? I want them to grow together. I want them to get better together. I want them to learn together. This upcoming year, I think you're stoked with 8 or 9 wins. Very excited by it. Veterans, not stoked by 8 or 9. They're not stoked for a step in the right direction, especially back 9 veterans. Jonnu Smith has been around a little bit. If he goes somewhere, I think he's going to want to contend. He's going to want to be a big part of a team that can go try to win something special. Not saying he'll get that, right? I know the Steelers were involved. Obviously, Miami wants to keep him because he was at times their best playmaker. There's a lot of else going on there. But if I'm the Panthers, especially if I'm trading any kind of future picks or young players, I need young. I want them to be on the same timeline with Bryce and JC and Derek Brown, and we can go on through their best players. But outside you got your vet, you got Thielen, right? If you need a older guy to smack his little brother in the head in the huddle, like you've got your dude.
Yeah.
Taylor Moton can do that. You have your vets. I don't think you need more.
Yeah. Well, next up, going back to hockey, what was your take of Paul Maurice not wanting the coaches to shake hands, even after he didn't really use that same logic in the series prior?
I have a theory, okay, on why people get into coaching. There's a few different options, right? Some genuinely just want to help young people become the best version of themselves. Some, like Rod Brindamore, I believe are all in on the sport and can't imagine being away from it and have spent their entire life, and it's what they do. Then there are people that just like the idea of being the only one with the whistle. They like power. Their definition is like what I say goes, and they like being able to make the cool kids that were bigger, stronger, faster than they were run and skate and condition. I got that from Paul Maurice. Rod he's the 28th all-time in games played in the NHL. Paul Maurice was drafted in the NHL and never made it to a game. And it was his opportunity after winning a game to try to strong-arm him. And Rod's too classy to do anything else. Rod talked about it today in their press conference, and he said he's going to continue shaking hands in the post-game press or post-series handshake lines. I think part of him, and I wish he did it, would have said, Paul, you do what you want. I'm getting in line.
Yeah.
I think that's the move because what's Paul Maurice going to do about it? But
right.
Rod was too classy.
He is.
I mean, we all know those guys. The Florida baseball coach, for those of you who haven't seen, Kevin O'Sullivan, I think his name is. He is a guy that got into it because he likes the power and he likes belittling people and yelling at people. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up.
Mm-hmm.
There's some bad reasons to get into coaching. Not saying Paul Maurice is a bad coach. Obviously a good one, defending champ. Maybe got in for a little different reason.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show. I'm having a good time. We have, coming up next, the behind-the-scenes conversation. The Carolina Panthers, who we were just discussing. They were just disgusting. That's a slip for you. But we were just discussing them. Put out their blueprint video behind the scenes at the draft, and I'll tell you what we learned from the Panthers and how they executed their draft picks not that long ago in the offseason. It's coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and don't you know it is Tuesday? And that means Tuesday's special because it's Dinger Tuesday. How about some late-night dingers? Mets are in Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers. New York and L.A. just played in Flushing, Queens. We could do this again. Shohei Ohtani always hits home runs. So too does Pete Alonso. You can have some fun. Plus, when you do Dinger Tuesdays right at FanDuel, you get an extra profit boost if your guy goes yard. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. FanDuel.com/AdamGold, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Triple play, triple play, triple play. 3 ways to win on every scratch-off. They're like a 3-man wrecking crew of winning potential smashing into your bare hands. Triple threats of cold, hard cash. Prizes up to $1 million. 3 times the play, 3 times the thrills, and 3 ways to win. Triple play from the North Carolina Education Lottery with triple action-packed chances to win.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.84 to 4.79. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Do you have a wedding anniversary coming up? Don't just mark the day. Make it unforgettable with Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Shop their exquisite selection of designer jewelry or consider upgrading your original engagement ring with the diamond she really deserves. Whether this is the 1st or 31st anniversary, celebrate your love with something special, wrapped in a black and white striped box from Bailey's. Voted best jeweler from the Triangle to the coast. Every woman wants a Bailey box. Visit us today in store or at baileybox.com.
What's up? This is Will I Am. I'm joining Stand Up to Cancer and Providence Health System to let you know if you're 45 and older, go get a colon cancer screening right now. Ask your doctor or go to providence.org/colon cancer to determine which screening option is right for you.
Out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowe's.com/lowest price guarantee.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
And a fly ball to left field. Racing in is Galvin. He is there, and Miami's 2 wins away from Omaha. They'll play for a Super Regional next weekend. Hurricanes came in having lost 6 out of 7 games. Southern Miss had won 18 of 19. The trends end at the regular season, and it also ends Southern Miss's year.
The Adam Gold Show here on a Tuesday. I'm Tim Donnelly, substitute teacher.
Right?
You're not going to push me around.
I was going to say, you didn't push in one of those TVs, though, on the cart.
Oh, I know. I was actually looking at the door for a TV. Nah, the TV, we're just going to watch a movie today.
Yep.
But you always got the speech when the sub showed up, right? You're not going to, I know I'm new.
Right.
I know I don't know all the rules, but you're not going to push me around.
Mm-hmm. Just got to get through the day.
Kids are just like, oh, a challenge.
Yeah, just wait.
Deal. It happens everywhere. Except for the one cool sub. Everybody loved the one cool sub.
There was always that one cool one.
Hopefully that's me. I know you get different fill-ins when Adam's out. Hopefully I'm the cool sub.
You are.
There we go.
Yes.
You are nothing if not sucking up. Teacher's pet over here.
Yes.
So last night, the Carolina Panthers. How long do we have to say Carolina Panthers before everything? Because the Canes just played the Florida Panthers. We can just say Panthers now, right?
I know. Yeah. Yes. Well,
Okay. They're still all right. I'll say Carolina Panthers. I don't like it.
In it, so
I don't
it's
like it. Most of the year, I just go to Panthers, and everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Right now, there's confusion.
The Carolina Panthers yesterday posted their latest episode of The Blueprint, which is a sporadically produced, kind of inside the team facility, state-owned propaganda video. I want to be clear. They're not going to put out anything that makes them look bad. Okay? So if they got fleeced on a trade, they're not showing those calls. If they were considering something stupid, those are going to stay locked away, burn the tapes. But it is, and it's becoming more common across the league, that they're giving like real insight. They're showing guys answering the phones for trades and things. And there's a few things that stood out. There's a lot of Dan Morgan. There's a lot of Brant Tillis, who's Dan Morgan, the GM's kind of, second hand. There's a decent amount of David Tepper, which I'm gonna be upfront here. Get this one out of the way. Didn't do anything particularly annoying in this one.
That is good.
There's a lot of Teteroa McMillan. There was a lot of discussion. Here's the part about Teteroa McMillan that stood out to me immediately. Because obviously they start with the draft, and at the beginning of the draft, and the first picks are going off, and everybody's got the tension in the room, and they're ready. He was calling Teteroa McMillan, his words, not mine, our guy, well before the pick.
Interesting.
There was a lot of like, if our guy is still there, if our guy, let's see if our guy falls, if our guy. And you don't really know, like, I'm like, are they talking about, like, I didn't know if Mason Graham was going to get drafted and then he was going to go like, there's our guy.
Yeah.
But no, it ended up being Teteroa McMillan, which is pleasing to me. Like, that is, as much as anything, and it's why I am a draft nerd. I got to remember, I'm not as familiar with some of these listeners.
Do you have like the whole draft party and everything too? Like that kind of draft nerd? Or?
Opposite. Well, I have done that, like for old jobs. We had draft parties. We had to go to bars and stuff. Had to paid appearances. But no, I watched the draft like solo dolo.
Focused.
Yeah. I have my own big board. And I like to judge how well my evaluation process is against, like, I am a nerd. Like, if you put little statues on a table, it'd be Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
So because of that, like, I pay a lot of attention and I do all of that. But the one thing that I can never know, There's actually two things I can never know. And Dan Morgan said this. I have a quote right here in front of me. Dan Morgan said about the draft, if you're going to miss on a guy, it's usually because you don't know the guy good enough. Basically saying, like, we can all watch film. We can find out who's fast. We can, look at the combine. We can look at numbers. We can talk to coaches. We don't know if a guy loves football. We don't know if a guy's a jerk. We don't know if a guy is going to get his first big contract and never work hard a day in his life ever again. That frustrates me because I'm like, well, I don't even get to talk to him, Dan. I don't get to 15 minutes at the combine to shake him in the hand and look him in the eye. You get to do that. But that's one thing I will never know. And the other is you don't know how much the team actually likes you. And I think that might be as important for your development as anything, is if you have people that truly believe in you, like you, and want to see you succeed in the draft.
Yeah.
Because if say Dan Morgan really wanted Mason Graham,
mm-hmm.
and then he really wanted Jalen Walker.
Yeah.
And then David Tepper said, no, we're taking Teteroa McMillan. That didn't happen. But if that were the case, Dan Morgan's not going to work as hard to put you in a position. And then when he's venting to Dave Canales isn't going to work as hard. But when everybody was on board with the decision and he's our guy, now if he struggles, everybody's on. How do we fix it? Let's brainstorm. Let's get a group together, form a search party. Let's go find his talent again.
They're invested.
They are. So seeing that makes me think T-Mac's ready to roll. Then there was this part where the Rams were trying to trade up. Rams had pick 26. Panthers had pick 8. They'd been saying our guy, so they're pretty settled on if McMillan is there at 8, we're taking 8. And a few times Brant Tillis was like, but let's make sure we hear from the Rams. But let's make sure so they had previous conversations. And I'm going, this is interesting. Because going from 26 to 8, that better come with a gold basket. That better come with a lifetime subscription of meat of the month. That better come with everything you can think of. A flight up to space on one of those civilian jets.
Right.
Like all of it. Rams call. They're on the clock. Make an offer. They don't show us the offer. Would have been nice if they were like, here's the picks. Dan Morgan and Brant Tillis simply, no, that's not enough. And then we learn, pre-draft, they had made an offer to the Rams. Said, here's what we're thinking. They called the Rams back up and said, we would do the deal that Dan offered you before. If not, no go. We're taking our guy.
Bye.
They said they're going to think about it. There's like 2 minutes on the clock. There's like 2 minutes on the draft clock. And Dan Morgan is being an absolute, like, I'm gonna make you
right.
He's like
smell the cigar smoke.
He's like a don. He's like, where's my consigliere? He's handling business, and I think it was to go along with the first point. They were super duper comfortable with Teteroa McMillan. They had a fallback that they loved, and it became very much you have to knock our ever loving socks off if you think we're moving off of this guy, and that's such a good place to be. If they didn't love McMillan and there wasn't somebody there that they didn't love Tyler Warren or Colston, like somebody else there, they would have been shaking in their boots negotiating up the trade. Speaking of the consigliere, shout out to Eric Eager. Not many people know he's the VP of Football Analytics with the Panthers. I've interviewed Eric Eager back when he was running a startup with the old GM of the Falcons. It was Thomas Dimitrov, I think is how you pronounce it. They were running this sports analytics startup and trying to I think sell like subscriptions and stuff before Eager was hired away by the Panthers. Super interesting guy, super smart, super analytics based. And if you watch the video, he's the one who the like Dan Morgan, Brant Tillis, David Tepper would be talking, and they'd look over their shoulder back left and say, what are the odds one of these two guys are going to be here at pick 77?
Yeah.
And he would just kind of look down and look up and go 41%.
Yeah.
And
his brain did that calculator thing.
I hope he plugged it in somewhere and it wasn't just freelancing. Maybe it was made up. 42.5. But it was all analytics based. And again, talking of draft nerd, there's theories out there that where you sit in the draft room tells you how important you are.
Oh.
Because basically the idea is, like football front offices label their guys their senior associate head scout, their senior head scout of college football scouting, their senior head scout of pro scouting, there's a GM, assistant GM, associate assistant GM. Like who's higher, the head of scouting or the associate GM of the West Coast? Like it's not like lieutenant, sergeant, like whatever the hierarchy is in the military.
Right.
So the saying, the kind of deal is, if you get a picture of the war room, how many people would hear you talk if you tried to whisper to the GM? Tells you how important you are.
Yeah,
because
makes sense.
If the GM wants to turn around and go like, hey,
right,
the wide receiver, could he do that? Because a lot of times, like, the position coaches are in the back, right? So it's like, you sure you like the running back?
Yeah, should we go with him?
Like, you're on that day in the war room, not that important. You're important on the field in other ways, but that day you're not. Eric Eager was close.
Interesting.
I think they're going kind of heavy analytics.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting way to think from a team that seemed to have gone real gut instinct under previous coaches. And even David Tepper, to me, kind of strikes me as like, no, you take the star, kid.
Yeah. Shiny object.
Yeah, they're going analytics, which is kind of nice. I think it's a good, hey, things weren't going the way we wanted to. Let's shake it up a little bit. Eric Eager, name to watch. Might be one of those guys that like randomly gets picked to be like the Saints GM 5 years from now, and everyone's like, who is this guy? Yeah. And you realize like, oh, he was making a ton of the decisions for Dan Morgan with his calculator.
Makes sense.
It's an interesting little piece. I learned a bunch more there. Well, maybe we'll come back to it because we didn't even get to the second and third round pick. It's the Adam Gold Show, and we'll be back with there's a universal truth. How they found you is how they'll leave you. And that applies to the Carolina Hurricanes. Stick around.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
WakeMed Brain and Spine wants to stop strokes in their tracks. If you think someone is having a stroke, use the acronym BE-FAST and assess these functions. B, balance. Do they have trouble walking? E, eyes. Are they having trouble seeing? F, face. Does their smile droop? A, arms. Ask the person to raise their arms and notice if one drifts down. S, speech. Is it slurred? And T, time. It is important. Call 911 and get to the hospital as quickly as you can. To check your stroke risk assessment, visit wakemed.org.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Westwood One Sports presents this special tennis update. Francis Tiafoe, twice a U.S. Open semifinalist, trying to get there in Paris. He had won his first 12 sets, but in the quarterfinals, the Italian Lorenzo Musetti took out Big Foe. 6-2, 4-6, 7-5, 6-2. Musetti adds a French semi to the one he achieved at Wimbledon last year. And on Friday, he'll play the winner of Carlos Alcaraz and Tommy Paul. Thursday, it's going to be Arina Sabalenka against Iga Swiatek in the women's semis. Here's Sabalenka on facing the 3-time defending champ.
I love it. You know, I love tough challenges, and I think this is the matches where you actually improve as a player and where you get much stronger. So I love those challenges, and I'm always excited to face someone strong.
Sabalenka has now made it to the semis in 9 of her last 10 slams. Swiatek, with today's win, has won 26 matches in a row in Paris. For this tennis update, John Stashauer, Westwood One Sports.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly. We're sitting in for Adam today. I believe Adam's out for the entirety of the week. He'll have other substitutes in here for the rest of the week. But Victoria will be holding down the fort.
But no Tim Donnelly, just me.
Well, you can, if you, I need to say this more often just from a business standpoint. Personal, just shameless. I'm not going to disguise it as a tease. If you do like the show today, I do a show for 3 hours every day, including today, from 3 to 6. Immediately after this one, in the Triangle on 99.9 The Fan, which means right where you're listening to this show. If you're in another part of the state, first of all, what's going on? Second of all, you can find us on stream. You can find us on our 99.9 The Fan YouTube page. We have a good time. Victoria doesn't join us very often on the later show.
I need to. Just have me on there sometime.
Yeah, we should. You're always right down the hall.
I'll talk about Panthers. We talk about MMA things. I mean, I'm here for it all day.
I'm not as always caught up on my MMA stuff. Is there anything exciting going on now?
Yeah, well, the last card, the main event, was canceled, so that was like the big news. But yeah, no, summertime's going to have some big cards coming up, pay-per-views. So.
This is completely like I am casual as casual gets.
Yeah, it's okay.
Do you know what would upset me a ton? If I paid for the pay-per-view or I bought tickets and the thing happens where they're overweight and suddenly like a championship bout is just not a championship bout anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, no. Part of sports is the stakes, right? Part of sports is what's on the line. And I know money's still on the line and right, the other competitors still fighting for standing and record and all of that.
Right.
But, like, you never show up at the Super Bowl and they go, actually,
never mind.
This one's going to be for the division. Like, it's still important, but.
Yes. Justin Jefferson ate a burrito before the game.
Exactly.
So now it's like.
He's not dehydrated enough. So this one just isn't going to count.
Yes.
That's one, like, I don't know. And then also, there's other things, but that's one of my biggest pet peeves with the sport is like,
it's frustrating.
It's got to just be, and if you're on the undercard and suddenly there's so much less sizzle around like your night. And
yes. Oh yeah. Well, no, and it's funny when the prelim card is better than the main card. That's a whole thing too. So
I don't hate that.
No, that's a happy surprise.
That's
a good thing.
Showing up to a band that you kind of like and fall in love with the opener.
Yes.
And you're like, I'm early.
Great analogy, because that happens.
I'm a hipster.
Right
now I'm telling people, oh, you found them when when they were best new artist at the Grammys.
Welcome to the party.
I fell in love when they were opening for Nelly in 2007.
Right. When I saw them at this hole in the wall and, everything was, awesome.
Do you have any good stories like that? Any bands that you saw before they were them?
So many. Oh, my gosh.
Give us a good one. Just one.
Oh, my gosh.
I love this story for sports, too. It's part of the reason why I love college sports, part of the reason why I love minor league sports. One time at a previous show, we just did a full day where we said call in or text in. We had a text line with someone you saw that went on to be a great athlete that you saw before they were them.
Yeah.
Like where you just kind of watched and thought like that guy's good or that lady is good, but you didn't know. The stories were awesome.
Yeah.
Like so many, like I was on the playground and this kid was just always better than us. And that's Cal Ripken. And it was like, one time I went to a minor league baseball game and this was way back in the day. Then players had to go play catch with kids after the game in the parking lot, and that was Johnny Bench. And I'm just like, what is going on here?
You would take people's arms off.
Do you have any that stand out?
I mean, the closest that I can think of just on the spot, I actually just saw them in Florida, but Memphis Mayfire is a band that I didn't realize I liked as early in my life as I did. Because you know how your phone will remind you of memories or Facebook will let you know, like, you posted
for better and
this
worse,
thing.
as cringy as it was in sophomore year of high school.
Exactly. And so that was one of them. And I thought, what? I forgot that I saw them at this. And it was just a rinky-dink little concert where they opened. And I thought, oh, look at that loyalty.
So they didn't really knock your socks off.
Well, I liked them.
Did you
but
walk
I
away
forgot
with
that
the
it took that long.
Did you walk away with like that band's gonna be something? They have the it
I
factor?
followed them, but then time is a blur. And so I didn't realize that I had liked them that long. So when my memory popped up saying like 15 years ago you saw this band, I thought, oh, look at me go.
I've never had it with a band.
No?
I'm not a huge concert goer, but no, I've never seen one where it like popped where I'm like that person might.
Did you have an athlete though?
I mean, we could name drop. I played with some pretty. I played with Manti Te'o in middle school and high school when I was growing up in Hawaii. One that I get like it was super obvious and not as name droppy. Do you remember Myron Rolle?
No.
So Myron Rolle was the #1 football recruit in the country. He was a safety. He went to Florida State. Was all ACC, super good player. Gave up his last year at Florida State to go be a Rhodes Scholar over in Europe and he was on his way to becoming a brain surgeon. Then he got drafted into the NFL by the Titans, played a year or two in the NFL, kind of bounced around, then gave up, like could have kept playing, gave up playing in the NFL. And it is now like one of the preeminent brain surgeons, and he like has opened hospitals. Anyway, it was a thing for a while because he had to get clearance from the NCAA to let him get a private jet to do his interview for the Rhodes Scholar and then be back for Florida State to play, I think, in the ACC championship. But we played in he's 2 or 3 years older than me. We played in the same Pop Warner group. Like when I was on Pee Wee's, he was on varsity or whatever. And I remember watching him as like I was probably 8 or 9 and going, that guy's gonna play in the NFL.
He's good.
And usually it's like, well, he's just the best kid in your town. No, that kid, he's gonna play in the NFL.
I see the kids in my town.
Like
Nope.
6 years later, he's the #1 recruit in the country. It was like, little kid knew what he was talking about. Let's hook a transition to some Canes talk. You know what? Martin Necas may have been one of those guys.
Maybe.
In the Czech Republic, because the physical skills he shows, speed, right? They're things that like a youth coach watches and goes, this kid might be something. This offseason for the Canes, which is started, by the way, is going to be fun for 100 reasons. Most of them involve the Canes, right? Canes have draft picks they can trade. Canes have draft picks they can make in the draft. Canes have a ton of money to spend under the salary cap.
They do.
Players who made just a little bit of an appearance last year are now going to be developing and getting their opportunity. Alexander Nikishin. Like, there's a billion reasons to be excited. Maybe Sebastian Aho can build off the first period in Game 5 against the Panthers, where he finally turned into an angry Aho and went nuts and scored 2 goals. All of that. And then there are some reasons where this is going to be exciting. It's going to be fun as audience members. So Sportsnet put out a list in which they listed 20 names they've heard in trade talks and 20 names they expect to have in trade talks over the next several weeks. 11 of them were defensemen. I don't think the Canes are going to be big spenders for defense. They might bring in a veteran to if they need a right-handed vet. Anyway, I don't think they're going to be big spenders, so I kind of just get rid of those 11. There were 9 forwards. One of them was Martin Necas.
Ooh. Ooh.
What?
Right wing, Avalanche.
Wow.
And in the description for why he was there, you could have picked up the paragraph and just put it last offseason, changed Avs for Canes, darn near not super excited about the way he's being used and is looking for a certain commitment. And
Was
also,
his dad mentioned?
And also a role. His dad was not mentioned,
Oh.
although he wasn't directly.
Yeah, he might have been there in
Some
the
of the
shadows.
opinions may have originated there. And all I could think of was this. How they found you is how they will leave you. Now, normally that's relationship advice, right? If somebody is dating somebody that is super attractive, and then for whatever reason the looks go, and they leave them and go to you, and you're super attractive, and then when your looks go, if they leave, you shouldn't be surprised. How they found you is how they'll leave you. If somebody cheats on their partner with you, then their partner breaks up with them, and they're dating you, and they cheat on you, I don't think you're allowed to be surprised by that. You can be hurt, but I don't know if you can be surprised by that. How they found you is how they'll leave you. An underrated part of making roster decisions is finding players that want to play for your team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Eric Tulski learned that kind of the hard way for the Canes this year with Mikko Rantanen. You got to not only find somebody whose skill set fits, who the numbers, the analytics say, from where he takes his shots and the shooting percentage and the amount of minutes he skates on the left wing, it works. You need somebody that wants to be there. Or the opposite is true. You need to have a cold-blooded business decision. I've seen this. I played college football. I'm a diehard football fan. You see it in the NFL, where occasionally somebody like Ndamukong Suh did it, where you just become a mercenary. Like, it is very well known from the beginning, I will work very hard for you. I will be as productive as I can. We aren't friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm renting. I'm not putting down roots. I am here for the football season. I will sign a 1-year contract, and at the end of this season, I'm probably going somewhere else. And as long as you're aware of that,
right?
That's good business, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I just need to fill this hole. We're going to draft somebody to replace you, or we have a young guy that we know is going to replace you, but he's not quite ready. Like, we can shake hands on this and be cool with it. You have to know what motivates the player. If someone is just showing up because you gave them the most money, they will leave you when somebody else offers them more money. If someone is only playing for your team because they think they're going to have a banana statistical season, if they don't have that banana statistical season, they're going to leave and try somewhere else.
Yeah.
And the Canes, like I said, offseason's going to be awesome for a lot of reasons. You just get to watch.
Right.
You just get to watch and think, we turned NECAS, that problem you're dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
and Drury, who's, I got nothing bad to say about Drury,
I hated to see Drury go.
and a handful of mid-round picks into Logan Stankoven, 2 firsts, 2 thirds, and Taylor Hall.
Yes, 2 guys who for sure want to be here.
There it is. Are they the physical talent of Martin Necas or Mikko Rantanen, obviously?
Sure, right.
Not at this point.
Yeah.
Right? Not at this point in their careers. But
Mm-hmm.
they want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
They're not here on some like, hey, how many years do I have on my contract? I'll give you that much, and then, we can shake hands and leave. They're on some, I want to put down roots. Taylor Hall started talking about roots as soon as he got here.
Yes.
He started talking about, I bounced around too much. I want to find a place where I can establish myself. And by the end of the year, he signed a 3-year extension.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Stankoven, go listen to his exit interviews from last week. This is not a guy that wants to leave. So the other thing that is going to be fun this offseason is, what do the Canes spend on? Who do the Canes spend on? Particularly the big money decisions, right? I think Tulski has proven, right? He can find a Robinson. He can find a Roslovic. Like, he can find those guys to fill out a roster. But where does the big money go? Matter of fact, we have a clip here of Eric Tulski earlier today about, in terms of cap space, are there areas on the roster specifically that they want to improve?
There's always room for improvement, right? I've said it before, until we have the 20 best players in the league, there's still room to get better. And we're going to keep working towards that, right? Every time we see an opportunity to bring in someone who we think helps us take a step forwards, we're going to take advantage of that.
And he has the 20 people, best 20 in the league. That's his line. He says it a lot. But he does have, to me, the Mikko trade, the first one where they acquired him, gives him a bit of bona fides to where it's like, I'll do it. Right? It's not him. He's not the boy that cried wolf about making big, like I've done it before, I'll do it again. So the other part of this Sportsnet list, outside of Martin Necas being there, Elias Pettersson, Marco Rossi, John Gibson, the goalie for the Ducks, Chris Kreider, Ivan Barbashev, Andrew Kopp, Andre Palat, Dawson Mercer. There's some names here. Those are some names. And if teams are already, back channels or whatever, Sportsnet, they found it somewhere. Somebody said something. If it's already out there, there's might be a point in time where their teams are motivated sellers this offseason. How many of us right now, while I read that list, just started, how would they fit? Who would they skate with? Oh, really? Oh, they're available. I didn't. Okay, and you're already like picking a jersey number. You're already imagining them in the red, the black, and the white uniforms.
Yep, thinking of their nickname.
Yeah, could they? They would look good in that Whalers on Whalers night. Like you're already doing all of that. But the thing that Martin Necas is teaching us with the Avs, the thing that Mikko Rantanen taught us with the Canes, is it's not just about getting the players. It's about getting somebody that wants to play there and wants to play there for the right reasons. Right? Not just, and again, unless they're just upfront about it. But I don't think any of those guys are ones that you want to bring in for a flyer and then bounce. To me, Roslovic was kind of that way, if we're being honest. I don't think Roslovic's coming back next year. I think he was brought in to give them some scoring punch for a year to fill out a roster. Then you shake hands, you send him on his way, you gave him a 20-plus goal season to put on his resume and help him negotiate.
Yeah.
That's just a good business decision. These guys, the ones I just mentioned, if you bring them in, you want them to be a part of the core, you better darn sure make sure they want to be a part of the core. They want to be around. They want to build. They want to help the young guys. Because that's the other thing. Like if you're here for a year or two and you know it, why what are you mentoring a young guy for? You're not going to be around. You're not going to be around when he's good.
Yeah.
They talk family with the Canes a lot. You need to make sure somebody wants to be a part of your family.
Big time. It's a big time family.
I don't know. And by the way, I talk a big game. I often call myself not just a problems guy, a solutions guy. I understand I just did a lot of problems. I don't know how you do this. I think really the only way is gut instinct. Yeah. You have to find a way to talk to them or Zoom with them or shake their hand. I don't think that, some people get real deep down the wormhole of like, I talked to their middle school coach and I talked to the janitor at their high school and they were a good kid and they always said thank you. And they like, I get if you want to be thorough. I genuinely think you have to have some interpersonal skills and just be willing to walk away from a deal.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Just not feeling it.
I didn't get the right vibe from him.
Yeah.
And I think that's really hard because it's hard to explain to an owner. Wait, you told me all this was so good about their play and you were so excited. What are we walking away for? It's like,
See, this is where when you brought it up earlier about the Rod and the Eric Tulski roles not meshing, because I feel like Rod definitely checks that, like,
yes.
Is he vibing with the team?
Yes.
Is he going to be good in the locker room? And then Eric is the, like, let's do the paperwork. Let's do the analytics.
And they both need to sign off.
Yes.
Both should have full veto power.
Right.
Like, no question. I say no. Not why. Oh, but, yeah, no. It's actually, I'll go back to my college career one more time here. University of Delaware, I take pride that I started my career as a walk-on, ended up scholarship, played a good amount, all that kind of stuff. But I used to take pride that coaches often, if we had a recruiting weekend, had me host a recruit.
Yeah.
One, because I'm like, all right, they know I'm responsible, right? I'm not a knucklehead that's going to go get them in trouble. We're not going to get arrested tonight. But two, they would, like, the next time you're in there watching film, they stop in and go like, is he a good kid?
What'd you think?
Like, was he a guy? Could he hang? Like, I always valued that they respected my opinion on like who's a good hang. Sometimes it was annoying as heck to be like, junior in college and you got some 17-year-old following you around all night. But those conversations were always fun to me. And spilling on like, no, he was cool. Oh, he was, he got along with the linemen, right? You know how the linemen are. He was playing beer pong with so and so. Like that stuff, it matters. And I don't know if I ever did say. I'm probably hinted. But I don't know if I ever went like,
Not good. I was about to ask if you ever had to have that conversation.
I mean, I'm sure I hinted because not all of them were the same, like, awesome guy.
Sure.
But I also didn't want to ruin anyone's dream because, like,
Yeah.
hey, I like, doing this and they like doing something else.
Mhm.
But I always wonder if I ever went to them and said, like, absolutely not, if they would take them off the board. If they're
Right.
like, all right, we're not offering them a scholarship. I want to know because I think it should be that important. It's as important as a 40 in football. It's as important as a blue line to blue line time and all that stuff in hockey. Like, it's as important. Speaking of all of that, and this is a perfect way to go next. Jesper Fast officially retired earlier this week. Now, this is but a formality, right? He didn't play all season, but he was on the inactive list on every starting lineup that we received. Like, he was on the team. He was just inactive. His career is a great lesson for actually the college athletes I was just talking about. Great lesson for athletes. Think about what happened. He didn't play this whole year. He got hurt in the last regular season game the previous year. He was cruising. This is where he was. Cruising as a main contributor, like skated a lot of minutes on an all-in contender for the Stanley Cup Finals. One of the betting favorites to win the whole thing. He was playing in a meaningless end of the regular season game with a bunch of young guys. 9 of the more quote-unquote star players were held out, not skating, getting rest for the postseason. He's out there. Slides awkwardly into the boards, hurts his neck. Career over. 700-plus games in the league. Dunzo. And the lesson is real simple. Only the absolute great and absolute lucky get to retire on their own terms. Everyone else gets retired by the game. Either they're staying in shape for a season and their agent's going, haven't heard anything. Haven't heard any. Oh, so-and-so called. They weren't that interested. Haven't heard anything. And then, halfway into their first season of offseason, they're like, this might be over. Either that happens or an injury retires you. And that's brutal. Brutal. Right? Not many get the teary-eyed press conference. I've given this game everything I have. I just want to say thank you to my brothers and the coaches that believed in me. And then they unretire and come back for one more year and do it all over again. Not many get that. And then secondly, even a season can end that quickly. Right? So the lesson is, like, don't take things for granted. But even a season can end that quickly. What is it? Zach Hyman with the Oilers.
Yes, that was huge. That loss is huge.
It's massive. And I forgot, I was listening to a podcast. This is not my story, so cite it to wherever it should be cited. Where Hyman told the reporter maybe that he didn't realize that, like, it was like done. Like, his brain, it didn't wrap around it that this year's season was over.
Yeah.
Until teammates started checking up on him during intermission. And he knew, like, oh, when I'm healthy, you only come back to check on a guy during intermission when they're dealing with something, like, tough.
Yeah.
They're all checking up on me.
Everyone.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
This is like the doctor could have looked at him and said, like, you're not going to skate again for 6 months. I don't know what it actually will be. And he was kind of like, no, I'm different.
Right.
Then when his teammates were coming through and going like, hey, man, tough, just checking up on you, he was like, oh, no.
And that was such an awkward hit, too. It didn't look as bad as, like, other hits that take you out.
Yeah, he's probably watching the replay going, there's no way that's going to keep me, a Canadian, off of an opportunity to give Canada their first cup in a billion years for the Oilers. There's no way that's going to happen. But it did.
Yeah.
And now he's done for the year. The only good news for somebody like Fast, and Hyman maybe to a lesser extent, is first of all, when you retire as an athlete, you kind of weirdly get to watch your own funeral. Everybody says really nice things about you. Like Martinook is tweeting how awesome of a teammate you are. And most of us have to die, and then people say all the things nice about us.
Right.
Athletes get this weird, like, third of the way through your life funeral. So Faust he got a lot of love this week. He got a lot of people saying really nice things about Jesper Faust. And then secondly, and this is one of my observations that I've used for a while, nobody is celebrated in American society, maybe all societies, but I only know American society, American society more than an athlete that once did something great that is now retired.
Yeah.
Like the fact that, whatever that was, May 2023, Faust scored the overtime and series-winning goal against the Devils. Game 5, Eastern Conference semis, punched their ticket to the finals. The fact that or the Eastern Conference finals, the fact that existed.
Yeah. That's what sticks.
Anytime Faust is having a rough couple of months, right? I assume he's going to go into some other career. Who knows? Maybe he's done well with his money and he's just going to sit back and kick his feet up. I don't know. He's going to start whittling. I don't know. But anytime he's had a rough couple months, he can just call up the Canes, say, hey, do you have a siren sounder for the second intermission? And he can walk into a packed Lenovo Center because they sell out darn near every game.
Mm-hmm.
They'll play that goal on the Jumbotron, put his face, and he just waves, and thousands of people will just cheer like he's a gladiator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he's retired, so he'll never go out there and give up a goal and have everybody get mad at him ever again.
Mm-hmm.
It is a kind of it's a cheat code in like dopamine rush.
I know. Maybe this is like Michael O'Connell for the NC State fans.
Yes. Like
I don't know if it'll last as long, but
heck yeah, it will.
Maybe.
If Michael O'Connell, he's, by the way, like a genius.
Yeah.
He went to Stanford and all these places and got all these high degrees. If in 20 years from now his like CEO job is kind of boring, I'm going to go check out the old Wolfpack. and all he's going to have to do is walk in, they'll put him on the Jumbotron, they'll play the shot, and the place will go bonkers. Most people never get to know what it feels like to have 20, 30,000 people just cheer for you.
Mm-hmm.
They get to turn it on like a light switch.
Yep.
They just get to walk in. By the way, once you're retired, when you're still playing, it's still like, well, let's see what he's going to do for us on game day.
Might be something better.
Yeah, or worse. Like there's still, but those guys, I mean, have you ever seen like Peppers walk into Bank of America?
Oh, every time.
He doesn't even know the camera's on him half the time. He's just walking, like he's got his kids with him, and the crowd goes wild, and you almost see him look around like, what, did somebody do something cool? No, they just put you on the Jumbotron, Pep.
Yeah, look up. It's you.
Who needs drugs or alcohol when you can get that kind of dopamine hit?
I know.
And Jesper Faust did it because he had a couple game winners in the postseason, a series clincher. Like, you're one of them ones. You get to walk in and just have everybody go, we love you.
Right.
Quickie.
You're the best.
Quickie, over here, Quickie. That's fantastic. The Adam Gold Show. There's no smooth way out of that one. The Adam Gold Show is going to come back with, we got the 7th inning stretch. We got some bets to make. We got a ton of stuff to get to. Stick around.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Have you ever heard of paramedics who don't just respond to emergencies, but work to prevent them? The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. Cape Fear Valley Health's Community Paramedic Program is a groundbreaking initiative where paramedics aren't just transporting patients, they're building bridges to better care, right from the patient's living room. Here's Cape Fear's Alinda Bailey.
We're not just asking, what's your medical emergency? We're asking, do you have problems obtaining your medicines? Can you get to your appointments? Are you safe? Are you supported? We try to identify not only the medical needs, the mental health needs, but also the social determinants that play a factor in the care of our patients and clients.
Join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
As public power customers, we experience fewer outages and faster restoration than customers of other electric providers. But the benefits of having a locally owned electric system go far beyond unbeaten reliability. Our local public power employees support our community, providing electric hookups for events, installing and maintaining ballpark lights, holiday lights, traffic lights, street lights, and more. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Because if interrupting is part of the talent, then she wins.
Giving an RBF face? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, everybody saw it.
I didn't say it. I
that picture
did not say that.
When they were asking Bill and she interrupts him and they look at her, that's evil. Like,
yeah. Okay.
I was waiting for the lights to come out of her pupils.
You're not wrong.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9. The Fan is later today. Right now, it's the Adam Gold Show. See that smooth save?
I know. I saw that. You're just teasing ahead.
I was on autopilot there. I do host the Drive with Tim Donnelly. Starts at 3 o'clock. Right now, I am substitute hosting for the Adam Gold Show, and my name is Tim Donnelly. That was Victoria Vodenecker, and right now we have the 7th inning stretch.
Okay, so this is a super fun story that our fearless leader Paul told me about this morning. So I have to talk about this. Have you ever done one of those runs, marathons, where you have to like eat food and then run, or drink beer and run?
Oh yeah.
One of those kind of.
I have a story about that, but go ahead. Finish your story.
Okay, nice. Well, Taco Bell is now making one of those, which sounds all kind of bad.
What?
So this is a 50K, apparently.
50K?
All right. Yes.
I'm terrible at the metric system. 50K to miles is 31.0686 miles.
There you go.
It's longer than a marathon.
Yes, it is longer than a marathon, and it's going to be in Minneapolis, and you can mix things up with some Taco Bell items instead of the typical, like, donuts or beer, and they have a strict set of rules. I mean, like, it's a whole laundry list of rules. So, First up, you have to be present at all 10 Taco Bell stops along the course. So there's Taco Bell stops. And there's 0 tolerance for course cutting. 0. So there's that. You have to eat a menu item from at least 9 of the 10 Taco Bell stops.
Oh, you can skip 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think 1 you can consume a beverage potentially, and
Baja
that's like
Blast.
your one. Yeah, that's like your one thing. I love Baja Blast. By the 4th stop, all entries must have consumed at least 1 Chalupa Supreme or Crunchwrap Supreme.
Yikes.
Tip's face is great. It's fantastic. By the 8th stop, everyone must have consumed at least 1 Burrito Supreme or 1 Nachos Bel Grande. So you have to at least consume one of these 2 items at a certain point of each stop. And you have to finish within 11 hours. So there's that. Like I mentioned, drinks do not count as food. And you have to confirm that you ate all the food from your wrapper. So you have to show. Yeah,
Gotta keep the tickets. Ticket stubs.
Yeah, exactly. I also saw the list of rules keep going down, but once you get to 11, number 11 on the rules says no on-course Pepto, Alka-Seltzer, Pepsid.
So they want you to feel bad.
They want you to die.
They
Yeah.
want this isn't impressive. They want you to feel bad.
Yeah, exactly.
How is this good for? Does Taco Bell involved in this?
Yeah. So
Why would
I'm
Taco Bell
assuming,
be
I
like-
know. I don't.
I got this great marketing idea. Let's make people hate themselves for eating
know.
our food, and anything that makes them feel better is going to be ruled a PED.
Exactly, and now you're going to associate their food with feeling like garbage. So there's there's that. So if you feel like you want to do this, then you can sign up because it's going to be in October when all of this happens. But yeah, I'm a hard pass on that one.
I mean, I'm somebody that when I was playing, the night before I was having bland noodles and bland chicken because I wanted 0 reason that my stomach would be messed up while doing physical activity.
Right? Before a swimming competition, I never ate anything heavy.
Same thing every time. You knew what it was. You knew how it impacted.
Yeah. No. No, you eat those days. You're not stuffing Nachos Bel Grande or
By the way,
chalupas.
there's a time and place for Taco Bell.
100%.
The middle of a marathon is
Not one of them.
It's not the time and place.
Not one of them. See, and I love Taco Bell too, but not if I'm going to run. I also don't really like running, so that would not be a good combination.
I was in a fantasy football league, not talking about the actual fantasy football league. Still am in this league. I've been in it for probably nearly 2 decades.
Yeah.
We have implemented a loser punishment where if you finish in dead last, you have to do a punishment because guys were checking out once they were mathematically eliminated.
Yep.
A couple of years ago, the punishment was a beer mile. You had to run 1 mile and finish 4 beers, and you had to do it in, I think we said it as 10 minutes or less.
Oh.
The guy smoked it, ran it in 8:15, had it all on film, pounded the beers, threw up everywhere, looked at the camera, quit the league.
Oh, no.
He had been in the league for 15 years.
And that was when he did it?
It was donezo. And
yikes.
maybe this is why, because the year before he also finished in last. And in 24 hours, he had, I think it was 6 different fast food large meals.
Oh, wow. No.
But the genius of it for him was he went midnight to midnight, and he actually sent us the first video of him eating a meal at 12:01.
Oh, wow.
So he maximized the 24 hours. So that one wasn't, he stayed in the league after that one.
Mm-hmm.
The beer mile.
That did it.
Looked into the camera and just said, I quit. It's been real. He got emotional because after you throw out your eyes or glassy, after you throw out your eyes, he looked,
right.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thank you guys for running the league.
Runny nose, all this stuff.
I'm done.
Oh,
you guys are going to have to
gosh.
replace me.
Wow.
And that was the dramatics.
Wow. Well, you know what we're not done with doing because I think we're going to crush it? Bets.
All right, let's
Place
make it
your
happen.
bets. Place your bets.
We got to go kind of quick here.
I bet
so.
you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
Do you want to lead off? How do we do this?
Sure, why not? I will start things off with I'm a big Cubby. As much as people know on this show, I love my Cubs. So, Cubs are taking on the Washington Nationals today. Give me the Cubbies to win. And you know what? I'm going to take the over 9.5. Maybe they'll go crazy. That's plus 200.
Are you parlaying or two separate bets?
No, they're together.
Okay.
So
parlay.
Cubs to win, over 9.5, plus 200.
One of my favorite bets, it's like Steph Curry over on threes because it's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Skeens, 7 or more strikeouts.
Oh, yeah.
They're playing the Astros. Pittsburgh young stud pitcher. I got it this morning at plus 135. It's since come down to plus 105.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, you're not trying to make a ton of money. You're just trying to have some fun. If you're going to be watching baseball, strikeouts are a good time.
Yeah, they are. And because I'm a huge Chicago Cubs fan, that means I don't like the White Sox. So the White Sox are playing the Detroit Tigers.
You know, the Pope's on the other side of that.
I know. Wrong side, Pope. So I'm going to take the Tigers to win just because, and I'm going to take the under 8.5 because I hope the Tigers get 8 all by themselves. That's plus 210.
I love wrong side, Pope. I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to lead the series NBA Finals in threes versus the Pacers, plus 1,100.
All right, last up, I'm going to take the Miami Marlins are taking on the Rockies, and why not? We'll go over 8.5, plus 200.
Those two teams are bad.
I know, big bad.
My last one, give me the Panthers to win the Stanley Cup. That way the Canes can say they were the second best team.
Again, I'm thinking Carolina Panthers.
Maybe them too. The Adam Gold Show, back with the Wall of Sound coming up in just a few seconds. Do not go anywhere.
Talking sports, so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Whether you're new to it or a seasoned vet, if you're a writer, then you know that we are just kicking off the writing season. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and June has always been a month that really starts off numerous motorcycle events, rallies, and shows. It gets new riders excited about putting the rubber to the road because the weather is gorgeous. But that also means that a lot of other people are planning their summer vacations. And as a rider, when there's more people on the road, it is so imperative to ride defensively to help prevent an accident. Now, if you are in a wreck on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault, it is so important to remember to always call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, so they get it. They know the value of your bike and your gear and the investment that you've made. Case evaluations are always going to be free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm. Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan with Dr. Brenna Houlihan from Wake Med. She's here to educate us a little bit more on Men's Health Month. Now, we've been talking about colonoscopies and whether someone is considering or not to have colorectal cancer screenings because they're experiencing some irregular symptoms. What are those symptoms that people might see that you would recommend they seek care for?
So some of the symptoms you see is really just change in your bowel habits. You know, you go from being sort of regular one way, it gets skinnier, it changes in consistency. That's something to keep in mind, and as well as bleeding. However, most colon cancers are asymptomatic or without any symptoms for a very long time. So even if you're not having those symptoms, make sure you stay within those screening windows and make sure you're getting those screening colonoscopies, even if you don't have a single symptom.
Wow, really important to pay super close attention to certain things. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Houlihan. And if you have any questions or want to find a provider local to you, you can visit wakemed.org.
Day one, the hardest day, the day you hear,
"This is a type of blood cancer."
At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day one. To learn more and get help on any day, visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Hit out towards center field. Hogart underneath it. Murray State races into Super Regionals for the first time in program history.
Look at the hops on those dog piles.
The biggest moment in Murray State baseball history.
The Adam Gold Show continuing.
You got it.
We got another hour of the Adam Gold Show, then 3 more of the drive with Tim Donnelly.
Yeah. See, now you're going to say the Adam Gold Show during the drive.
You're darn right I will.
Will that flip the switch like 3 o'clock?
I will. I'll misspeak 100 more times by the end of the day. But I can't really complain. I mean, baseball players play doubleheaders.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday there was U.S. Open qualifying. Guys had to play 36 holes. They had to play 2 rounds of golf.
True.
Sometimes the NHL has home and away back-to-backs. Like I'm in an air-conditioned studio, comfy chair, hanging out. Same thing, right? Just same amount of effort.
Right.
Playing a little back-to-back, a little doubleheader.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do Wall of Sound a little bit differently here. Substitute makes it cool.
Yeah. Spices it up a little.
I'm turning the keys to Wall of Sound over to Victoria Vodenecker, who you just heard. She will play sound. She'll introduce what she feels like we need to understand to get it, and we will go from there. And I will react in real time with many of you. Sometimes, I don't know what they are. It might be the first time hearing a particular clip. So we'll go. Make it happen, Victoria.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, first up, so we're going to go the college baseball direction. And Scott Forbes was kind of talking about the difference between ACC and SEC and, winning and losing. So let's see what his opinion is and then hear yours on it.
I mean, not for me, honestly. I just want to do all we can to put these guys in a position to win a national championship. I don't care who we're playing. We talk about it all the time. We're going to work hard. We're going to lift hard. We're going to practice hard so we can try to dominate whoever we play. If that's something people want to write about, that's fine. I do feel like the ACC this year was the best it had been, top to bottom. It was a battle every single weekend, no matter who we played. You're seeing that right now in the postseason. Duke is in a super. I have a lot of respect for the SEC, but also think the ACC is as good as any league in the country.
Okay, so should an ACC win over the SEC mean more? And you could even say from like a player's perspective if you want.
Yeah. I think like conference pride is a thing. There's a reason why there's like the, Big Ten Challenge, the SEC, ACC Challenge. Like conference pride is a thing. Do you know what's starting to feel like? And this is not a compliment. It should be a compliment what I'm going to say, but it's not. It's starting to feel like ACC basketball, which, I mean, if I say like, oh, any other sport is starting to feel like ACC basketball, that should be a compliment. But the last like 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, whatever it's been, the ACC doesn't get enough teams into the tournament, but then they have a bunch of them win games, and they always have 1 or 2 in the Final Four. It feels kind of like that, where like the SEC gets all the teams in, but then already going into Super Regionals, the ACC has 5, the SEC only has 4. So it's kind of like when we play baseball, we're a better baseball conference. When people decide who's better at baseball, they're the better baseball conference. Which one should we put more stake into? Which one should we put more weight on? Right? That's the ACC thing. The beautiful part about the ACC in basketball, this year a little different because it was kind of duking than everybody else. But for the most part, it's like, oh my gosh, they only got 6 teams in the tournament. Meanwhile, the SEC got 4,000 and the Big Ten has 9,000. And then we get to like the Elite 8 and it's like there's 3 ACC teams and there's no one from the Big Ten. It's like, all right, look at this. You get to like finish it on the court, which is the best part about sports.
Yeah. Okay, well, moving on to a little NBA. So Tim Bontemps, he is a senior ESPN NBA writer, and he kind of seems that the summer is going to be a little crazy for the NBA. So let's see if you agree.
The reason the chaos is happening this summer is because you now look at the Eastern Conference, and yes, the Pacers right now look like the favorites, but all these teams in the middle tier in the East are going to look at it and say the Celtics are now at least temporarily on hold, and there's an opening to make a run. And out West, you've got this feeding frenzy of teams that are both just trying to make the play-in, make the playoffs, get out of the first round of the playoffs, while also looking up at this potential behemoth above them and saying, well, what are we going to do to try to keep up with that? So all of that sets up for a lot of teams looking to do a lot of stuff, which in turn could lead to a lot of action.
This is an issue with professional sports, not just the NBA. When it is so obviously you have to deliver a championship or you are going to lose your job, it leads people towards craziness for an offseason. And what I mean by that is this. Actually, the Canes might be a good example, right? Because the Canes have won a ton, yet, and this is going to sound crazy, if you would have checked in on like Twitter after Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals, people wanted to fire Rod Brindamore.
Mm-hmm.
I said it was going to sound crazy, but it's because there's this championship or nothing level of success. So let's say that, 10 teams in the NBA have a championship or nothing measure of success for their coach and their GM, and they haven't won the last 2 or 3 years. So basically everyone other than like 1 or 2 teams. They're watching the Thunder. Thunder are good.
Mm-hmm.
Thunder getting better. Thunder have 1 billion picks. They're young. They're not going anywhere. If you know you have to win a championship next year or the year after, or you lose your job, why would you protect a 2032 pick? Why would you not be willing to trade a whole bunch of guys that are young and going to have 10-year careers for Kevin Durant, who's going to be around for 2 more years, or Giannis, who's going to be around for 5 more years, or whatever it ends up being? Which is why chaos exists, because these guys are desperate. They figure if it goes to complete trash, I won't be around to deal with it anyway, because if I don't win a championship this year, I'm out. And it goes across all sports, goes across all professional sports, certainly. And, if at any, you got 30-something teams, low 30 teams in a professional league, and 10 of them are wildly desperate, that's just driving up prices. That's driving up, it's creating chaos, which is, I think, what Tim Bontemps was getting at. I think we need to have more realistic expectations for teams, which is why I say at every chance I can get, if the Carolina Panthers win 8 games this year,
yeah,
you should be excited.
Absolutely.
You should not be disappointed with that because you're taking steps in the right direction. You need to have realistic builds. And then you can, eventually get to like championship or bust. But if you're not there, there's no reason to treat it like you are.
Yeah, no. Well, we were talking about this topic earlier, but I don't believe that you've heard this sound. So this is Rod Brindamore, and he was asked the question about not participating in the handshake line and if it was difficult for him. So we'll get your take from his response.
Yeah. But I understood his point of view. He explained it to me, and, I wasn't expecting it, but I understood what he said and why it is the players. Of course it is. Those guys are the ones that are battling out there, and we're just sitting back there, not along for the ride. We invested a ton into it, so I get his point that it is about the players. I guess my take on now, as sitting back on it in reflection, I think I look at, you talk about gracious losing. I've had some pretty impactful memories and moments in that line as a coach going through. Even in this series, in this playoff round with the Devils, and I had 4 or 5 guys that were Hurricanes, and I still think of them that. So it meant something to me to go through there and shake their hand. For me, I'm not thinking about a TV moment. It's just, I get enough of that. Every time there's a penalty, the thing gets shot on my face. That's not in it for me. So I think moving forward, I think I think I'll probably go back to it just because it's a sign of respect. That's the way I look at it. We're not out there on the ice battling, but we're right in there with these guys. And so that's my take. I think you're entitled to whatever one you want. He won, so I kind of went, okay, I'm going to follow your lead. In that. But I do think it's important to me anyway to show respect to the players.
I love that.
All right, first of all, Rod's classy. Second of all,
classy.
Rod knows. If teams got into it, my dad could beat up your dad, if it was, he wins.
Every time.
So he doesn't have to prove it. I think this is me now kind of guessing, right? Inferring. I think Paul Maurice wouldn't have liked how much his team likes Rod.
Mm-hmm.
I think there would have been bigger hugs for him in the handshake line after the Eastern Conference Finals than Paul Maurice would get if they win the cup.
He's not the cool guy in the room.
And that was going to bum him out. And I think his instinct was to just throw a fit.
Mm-hmm.
And, by the way, maybe a good move. It wouldn't have been good optics to have, Luosterainen, who was just pretty much a prospect with the Canes, but probably skated in off seasons and training camps, and knows Rod to be open arms, bear hugging like it was Brett Pesce at the end of the Devils game. Yeah. So maybe there's, I don't know. Paul Maurice, he's not a bad coach. I just, on the scale, have you seen the movie The Internship?
Yeah.
With Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
There's a point in time, and this is how dumb movies get a earworm, and they're just now, it's a brain worm, and now I think about it. They are looking to hire interns, and their final test is the layover test. If you were on a flight with somebody, and they got delayed by 6 hours, and you had to sit at an airport bar with them for 6 hours, who would you rather? Paul Maurice would be darn near dead last on lists of people that I would want to do it for. And Rod's probably near the top. I think Rod would be a great hang. I think he'd have stories. I think he'd know when to lay back and let me tell a story that he doesn't care about. Mm-hmm. I think he'd be a great hang. So,
Yeah.
The only thing I wish is that Rod in that moment would have gone, all right, you don't have to. I'm getting in line.
Yeah.
Because you are peers, right? You're both head coaches. They don't get to tell you anything. But he's too classy for that.
I think, he is very classy for that. If we had won, I think that's when he would have done that. Be like, okay, well, you can do whatever you want to do.
I also don't think Paul Maurice would have
not have
said
thrown
it if
that out.
they lost.
Exactly.
He was definitely trying to flex.
Yes.
The Adam Gold Show continues with a conversation about everybody's favorite Carolina Panther. Not Bryce, not Tedero McMillan. No, we're talking Xavier Legette. Stick around.
From the heels,
Touchdown, Carolina!
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Victoria with 99.9 The Fan. It's Men's Health Month, and WakeMed Heart and Vascular would like to remind you that stress and anger can have negative effect on your body, and if continued over time, can cause major problems like headache, upset stomach, insomnia, high blood pressure, and maybe even a heart attack or stroke. So take a time out, relax, take a deep breath, and walk it off. Manage your stress, and your heart will thank you. Learn more about caring for your heart at wakemed.org.
Triple play, triple play, triple play. 3 ways to win on every scratch-off. They're like a 3-man wrecking crew of winning potential smashing into your bare hands. Triple threats of cold, hard cash. Prizes up to $1 million. 3 times the play, 3 times the thrills, and 3 ways to win. Triple play from the North Carolina Education Lottery with triple action-packed chances to win.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.84 to 4.79. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
You think rush hour karting is just about racing? Think again. At our Morrisville and Gardner locations, you're stepping into a world of high-speed go-karts, axe throwing, golf and racing simulators, arcade challenges, and a full-service kitchen serving up serious flavor. It's where corporate events turn into bonding moments and friend nights turn legendary. This isn't just entertainment, it's serious adult fun. Visit rhkfun.com to plan your experience today.
Westwood One Sports presents this special tennis update. Tommy Paul played Carlos Alcaraz at Roland Garros last year, not at the French Open, at the Olympics. Alcaraz won. That came after his French Open title. The two are getting ready to begin their quarterfinal match. Lorenzo Musetti won the bronze medal in those Paris games, and that came after going to the Wimbledon semifinals. Musetti now a French semifinalist with his 4-set victory over Francis Tiafoe. Nobody enjoys playing on the French clay more than Iga Swiatek, 3-time defending champion. She also won as a 19-year-old. She's won 26 matches in a row, approaching Chris Evert's record of 29. 37 of her last 38. Swiatek in the quarters, 6-1, 7-5 over Elena Svitolina. This after Arina Sabalenka won 7-6, 6-3 over Qin Wenzhong. So it'll be the defending champ, the 3-time defending champ, against the top seed in Thursday's semifinal. John Stashower, Westwood One Sports.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
The Jeep brand has always stood for American freedom. And now we're standing with you with Employee Pricing Plus. Hurry into your Jeep brand dealer for details today and join the family. Jeep, there's only one. Offer valid on select 2024 and 2025 Jeep brand vehicles for non-FCA employees and retirees. $200 admin fee applies. Not all buyers will qualify. Restrictions apply. Does not apply to leases. Ends 6/30/25. Jeep is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely, and you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game. He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
This is the Adam Gold Show.
Throwback.
What's the inspiration? Any particular reason?
I feel like Xavier Legette probably listens to this throwback. Trick Daddy. I'm telling you, this is a good time for music.
Xavier Legette definitely listens to Trick Daddy.
He totally
I don't
does.
have any reason to know that for a fact, but I darn near guarantee it.
I would definitely guarantee that while he's eating raccoon. Which
Yeah.
I would totally try some if he has like some raccoon jerky or something. I know Vashti, she comes on the show. I don't know if it's either her or maybe Sheena that didn't want to try it. One of them did, one of them, I can't remember, but I remember the video being hilarious because they were like, no, I'm good.
You got excited. You want to try raccoon.
Do I get to meet Xavier? Then yes, that would be awesome. And then, I mean, it'd be fun. Why not?
I mean, I'll try it like if the opportunity presents itself and someone cooks it who I trusted and that kind of. But I'm not seeking out.
Oh no,
raccoon.
I'm not seeking
You got real excited
No,
there.
my Panther fandom's like, let's go. Why not?
All right, hey.
No, I'm not. I'm not
I
seeking
lived
that out.
in Jersey, outside like South Jersey, closer to Philly, when Deuce Staley was a running back that was on a hot streak, and it turned out that he drank pickle juice on the sideline.
Oh yeah.
I think it was like a cramping thing.
Yeah.
Suddenly, like half the city was walking around with just jars with
jar of pickles.
not just like no pickles in it, just a jar of the juice, and everybody was drinking it because they wanted to be like Deuce Staley. Like,
Right.
Just
Now it's a thing.
Now
There's
it's
pickle flavored everything.
It was actually. I said it out loud, and I went, actually, this kind of.
It's a trend.
It feels normal now. At the time, it was weird.
Hey, full circle. You said when you find something that's awesome and you're first to it, maybe he was the first one.
Yeah, he's
to...
walking around going like, I should have copyrighted. I should have started Deuce's juice.
Pickle flavored
Deuce
trend.
Staley's pickle juice.
Yeah.
Or maybe what I'm saying is 20 years from now. It's probably been more than that. 25 years from now.
True. Yeah.
Raccoon might be like the health craze.
It might be.
It might be the leanest meat to get your protein and your scoops of
Right?
pre-workout.
Raccoon flavored protein powder.
Ugh. That one took a different path. Xavier Legette has been everywhere, though. If his face popped up on quite a few endorsements this year, I would not be surprised. He was at the Kentucky Derby, right, as the NFL social correspondent. He was in their schedule release video. I'm sitting here, Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals at the Canes, and he's down there up against the glass having a good old time.
Did you hear the soundbite?
Oh, of course I did.
Yeah, it was great.
Didn't know the pucks could go that fast. Or whatever he said.
These boys are fast.
Yeah. Which he unabashedly has a good time. Like watching all of the behind the scenes or the mic'd up stuff with him reminds me of back in the day when you'd have the DVD extra bloopers and you're just like, you just see people that they're like belly laughing and they can't help it.
Yeah.
That's what it's like watching Xavier. He's just having a genuine good time.
It's a good time.
One might say he's a star off the field.
Yeah.
The question is, how do you get the star on the field to match the star off the field?
Yes.
Because that's how you get Steve Smith Sr. That's how you get Chad Ochocinco. That's how you get Randy Moss. That's how you get the all-time greats that are also all-time great personalities. You want to see him on the field. You want to see him in the post-game presser. How does that happen? So I started asking myself this question. What is Xavier Legette's role? When you're looking at the Carolina Panthers, how do you put him in a position to do the things he does well without asking him to do the things that he's still a very raw player, right? He had essentially 1 year of production at South Carolina, and then he's had the 1 year with the Panthers, and even that was marred by injuries, and he never really got going, less than 500 yards total receiving. And I did a lot of thinking, okay? And I did a lot of thinking of wide receivers that maybe had similar skill sets or had similar skill sets in relation to the rest of their wide receiver mates. I settled on two specific years that I think are the perfect role for Xavier Legette.
Okay.
Brian Thomas Jr.'s role last year from Jacksonville, who's in his same draft class. They're both rookies, both first-round picks last year. Or Nico Collins' role from Houston 2 years ago. Last year he's banged up, but 2 years ago. And here's why. Both of those guys were wildly productive in those years. Top 10 in receiving yards in the entire NFL. But neither of them were top 15 in receptions or targets. That's Xavier Legette. Xavier Legette is, one of the reasons I didn't love the pick when they took him at the end of the first round 2 years ago was he's raw. He's not running every route in the route tree. He's running like now screens, smoke screen. Give me the ball now and watch what I do with it. And he's doing kind of simple crossers and deep balls. And at South Carolina, that was enough. He was 6'1", 6'2", 200 and whatever pounds, ran a 4.39. Yep, that works in college.
Mm-hmm.
Last year at times he was running like, square end digs. He was running comebacks. He's running whip routes. He's running all kinds of stuff that's a little bit more nuanced. And I'm sure, right, putting in the extra time with Adam Thielen, trying to learn. I'm not knocking him for it. But I'm more of the belief, like, if you do something good, let's ask you to do that way more often. Now that you add Teteroa McMillan, and if he ends up working out well, you add Renfro, you have guys for the other roles. Like on 3rd and 4, if I need 7, I'm going to McMillan. I'm throwing him a jump ball. I'm finding a way to use his contested catch ability. If I need you to route someone up over the middle, I'm going to Renfro. And I'm saying, Renfro, you've made an entire career out of this. If you're back to being you after a year away from ball, boom. Jalen Coker's really good, and he was back at practice today for OTAs, which is nice to hear. Like, they've got their dudes. Do you know what nobody that I just mentioned has? Sub 4.4 speed. Xavier Legette ran a 4.39.
Yeah.
I want him to be asked to do very little, but to do that very little very well.
Yeah.
I want him running, taking the top off the defense, opening up space for everybody else. I want him to have 4 or 5 catches a game, but one of them change the game. Be a long touchdown. Be a field changer as far as taking you from your side of the 50 to deep in opponent's territory. That's where he can live. And that's what BTJ did last year for Jacksonville. That's what Nico did 2 years ago for Houston. Players that changed their entire offense by simply being a big play waiting to happen. Now, I will say there are going to be duds. Right? There will be games where he has 12 yards and you're going to say that he didn't do his job. But in actuality, it's like if you don't connect on the 2 opportunities you have, it's just tough. It basically comes down to this. And this is what sparked it. If you're down on the goal line, I think Teteroa McMillan may end up being one of the best goal line options in the league. He's gigantic, and he loves making contested catches. He jumps like a volleyball player, and he has the wingspan of like a pterodactyl. I also don't think you're ever going to get the Panthers away from running the ball. So on a lot of short yardage, you're going to be going there, or you're going to be going to play action to tight ends and things. Xavier Legette is the threat. I use this for running quarterbacks. I say this about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's on most of my big money fantasy teams. I want Lamar Jackson to run the absolute minimum amount that makes the defensive coordinator worry about him running on every play, right? If he has to run 6 times a game just so every time the defensive coordinator calls a play, somebody has to be responsible for Lamar Jackson, then I want him running 6 times.
Yeah.
If he has to do it 10 times, same thing. I want to throw it to Xavier Legette deep down the field. The absolute minimum amount of time I have to make the safeties have to run with him.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they're back, as soon as they're doing the nobody gets behind me thing and he's flying downfield and they're running with him, and they maybe even a corner and a safety, right? They got to worry about him. That's where everybody else eats.
Yeah. Well, and I'm also hoping that Teteroa kind of makes a healthy competition. And makes another. I think they're. You ready for this? I've got a 4-year-old at home. Oh, no.
I think they're the clownfish and the sea anemone.
Okay.
They're a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
I think they exist trying to do different things.
Right.
And they help each other. I don't think like it's almost alternating, right? Hey, we're gonna hit Xavier Legette on a deep ball. Soon as you do, now everyone's worried about the deep ball.
Mm-hmm.
Those, if you've watched McMillan in Arizona, the guy loves like 15 yards and cross, catch it on the run, big strides. Now he's yards after the catch. Boom, we're doing that because everyone's afraid of the deep ball. As soon as you do that 2 or 3 times, now people are crouching down. Now you got Xavier Legette over the top. It's like passing back and forth rather than anything you can do, I can do better.
That's why it's healthy.
It's like anything you can do, I hope you do better because that makes my job easier.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not as catchy a song, but that's what I'm rolling with.
Tag team for different reasons.
And then he has to catch it once he's open.
Yes, please.
He was quoted at OTAs. One last thing here from Xavier. Me getting open, that wasn't a problem. It's kind of a thug way to start. Me getting open, that wasn't a problem. It was just honing into really catching the ball in the drops. This was via the team's website, by the way. Mainly just trying to catch it with my hands and letting it get into my body or across my eyes. Not letting it is what he meant there. Yeah, maybe I just did a whole bunch of like high-level thinking and it really just comes down to catch the ball.
Please. Yep.
Those happen also. But like the one he dropped right at the end of the game was the Eagles game. That is one that's like that's your role.
Mm-hmm.
Down the field, make a play, switch the field in a crucial moment. Do it. He's kind of like a outfielder in that respect. You got to be locked in on every play, even though like 4 balls might come your way all game.
Right.
But an error is still an error on one of those 4.
Yeah.
Right? You got to make it happen.
Got to catch it.
There's a little Xavier Legette talk as we get ready. We are 51 days until training camp, by the way.
Look at that.
51.
It's not even 2 months.
51. Wow. And if you, take out weekends, right? Take out holidays. We're like 34 days.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if that's actually how it works. The Adam Gold Show. Stick around. We have the rewind and more coming up next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Have you ever heard of paramedics who don't just respond to emergencies, but work to prevent them? The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. Cape Fear Valley Health's Community Paramedic Program is a groundbreaking initiative where paramedics aren't just transporting patients, they're building bridges to better care, right from the patient's living room. Here's Cape Fear's Alinda Bailey.
We're not just asking, what's your medical emergency? We're asking, do you have problems obtaining your medicines? Can you get to your appointments? Are you safe? Are you supported? We try to identify not only the medical needs, the mental health needs, but also the social determinants that play a factor in the care of our patients and clients.
Join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. What day is it? It's Tuesday, but it's not just Tuesday at FanDuel. It's Dinger Tuesdays, and all FanDuel customers get a home run profit boost, like a profit big fly, a profit long ball, a profit tater. And that means when you bet on those home runs, you take your winnings to new heights. FanDuel.com/AGS, FanDuel.com/AGS. Yankees are home to Cleveland. There will be home runs hitting that one. Make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
This is Adam Gold.
I did love that Rod video with him, though, when he was trying to communicate.
Yeah, you speak hockey.
And he was like, it's okay, you don't need to know this, you know hockey. And I was like, oh, heartstrings. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show. This one not a Xavier Legette smash, or you think maybe?
Maybe.
Or you think maybe?
He might throw us a curveball and like this is on his playlist or something. I don't know. I mean, it's a great band too. They got some fun ones.
I do love when people they surprise me with their music taste.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that.
Me too. Because I'm a weirdo for music. Like, I'm a music nerd, so I love all kinds of music. So I like when people throw out stuff like, oh.
What's the weirdest? What's the most surprising thing you have on a playlist?
The most surprising thing. I mean, everybody is surprised when I tell them I like metal. Because I'm like
like screen like intense stuff.
I mean, like Pantera is one of my favorites, but I mean, there's other bands like SLA Dying. There's Memphis Mayfire is pretty whatever. But usually people are like, oh, you don't just like peppy music. You're so peppy all the time. I'm like, yeah.
I gotta let those dark emotions out somewhere.
I mean, it's a balance.
Why do you think I'm so peppy all the time? Because I mosh every weekend.
Right. Yeah.
Get the yayas out.
No, people can do the moshing to themselves. I will be watching from the nosebleeds.
Have you moshed?
No, no. I mean, I've gotten close. I have not volunteered for.
It just looks like medical bills. I'm just like I don't.
I've passed that age of moshing anyway,
and you're not allowed to get mad. Like somebody punches you in the face, you got to act like that's okay.
I'm telling you, my dog Biff, when he runs into me, he's 85 pounds, but when he runs into me, he leaves bruises. So I'm like, buddy. I'm not getting in a pit with it. I'm not getting in a pit with a bunch of people.
I don't think that's as surprising as you think. That the 85-pound dog can leave a bruise. You're like, oh, who would have guessed?
You're so fluffy. You're full of fur. What is this?
Gigantic
boulder.
Uncoordinated, like moving rock.
Yeah, I call him a moose. Or a bear. It's all acceptable.
Yeah, exactly. The Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly, not Adam Gold, but I'm sitting in for today. Victoria, who you all know very well, still producing. I don't know how we let this pass through. VEN-ALLEN LUBIN, earlier this week, or actually I think it was over the weekend. If you don't know what's going on with VEN-ALLEN LUBIN, college basketball, college sports, they're reaching the final frontier of like sports fandom, right? Yeah. They're reaching the nadir. And what I mean by that is the NBA is here. The NFL darn sure is there. Major League Baseball is pretty close. NHL, they're about 3 weeks away. And here's what I mean. The final frontier of content in sports is if you are truly a 365 days a year obsession. You are either in season or the off season is a soap opera or the off season is a reality show, like the Real Housewives of your sport, that the real world, right? Where people stop being polite and start being real. Like that's the last thing. And it happened, I would say the NFL did it by force because they started doing things like the schedule reveal. Which, by the way, we already knew everyone you were going to play. We knew who was home and who was away. All we didn't know was the times and the days. And they turned it into a full day. And then the draft is now 3 days long. And free agency has 3 days of tampering and then free agency. Like everything is drawn out. So literally there's something going on all year. The NBA did it. I would say, for better or worse, the LeBron era ushered it in, where every offseason, even if you're under contract, people are worried about if you're going to force a trade, if you're going to create a super team. So, like, who you vacation with in the NBA is now news on social media. Because who you vacation with might be who you're trying to align with, and now look at this. You're all on the same team. College sports didn't really have that. College sports had the season and signing day. And that was kind of it, right? A spring game would be a celebration for fans, but that was more like a country fair. It was just like, hey, everybody show up, have a good time, sign autographs. There was the season, which people were feverish about. There was signing day, which everyone pretended to know which 17-year-old from Missouri you wanted on your team. And that was it. And then NIL popped up, and then the transfer, or vice versa, the transfer portal popped up. Then NIL popped up. Then people got more comfortable using the transfer portal and NIL. And we are now to the point where the reality show in the offseason is darn near as entertaining as this, or entertaining is the wrong way, because I'll always be more entertained watching a game. But you need to keep up with it as much as you do like out-of-town scores during the season. VEN-ALLEN Lubin played last year for Carolina. He played last year for the Tar Heels. In the ACC tournament, you could argue there were stretches where he was their best player. He had 20 and 10 games. He was playing well above his size. He was shooting 70%. He became VEN-ALLEN Lubin of North Carolina. Then he hit the transfer portal earlier this offseason, which was an episode in and of itself of the real athletes of the ACC. Because he goes into the transfer portal. This was during the time, I don't know if everybody remembers this, where guys that had no eligibility were all going into the portal. And they were saying, like, it might have to do with legislation and we might get money, but we might, the big chef, Ian Shefflin from Clemson, had no basketball eligibility, went into the portal. Efton Reed, the 7-footer from Wake Forest, had no eligibility, went into the transfer portal. Ben Middlebrooks from NC State had no eligibility. So around that time is when VEN-ALLEN Lubin went into the transfer portal. And he put out a tweet that weirdly said, actually, I might be able to bring it up here for you quickly. He basically said, like, don't worry, I'm only in the portal. Here it is, April 21st.
Oh.
Before anybody jumps to the wrong conclusion, I am letting everyone know that I am entering the transfer portal with full intent on returning to UNC. My action relates to the complexities surrounding the possible approval of the pending NCAA settlement. I don't know what that means. That's not part of the tweet. This is me talking.
Right. Words.
I don't know what that means.
Words.
But I do understand I am entering the transfer portal with full intent on returning to UNC. The very next tweet, that was on April 21st. If you scroll up on his account to June 1st, he did not tweet in between. He's committing to NC State.
Yeah. See, he should have put that first tweet on April 1st.
Ah.
Because then you'd be like, gotcha.
What a slow burn on this April Fool's joke.
I know.
Roy Williams knows a little bit about that.
Right.
That is I talk about this with sports all the time. The two best things in sports. Like, if you ask me, what's the secret sauce? I'm talking sports in general. There are different secret sauces for different sports and things. But if you ask me, what makes sports so much more entertaining or so much more worthy of investment of your time than, like, Love Island or even like Amazing Race or some of these other competitions? It is, one, everything is completely fair. When it comes to sports, everything is completely, meaning it doesn't matter if you're tall or short. Like, you're playing basketball, it doesn't matter if you're tall or short. And what coaches will tell you it does. But if you're short and you can put the ball in the rim
right
more than the tall guy, you win.
Still get the same points.
Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. Doesn't matter where you're from. Doesn't matter. Like, once you step in, it's the only thing that matters is who can put the ball through the hoop more often. And then two is, it is completely unpredictable. You cannot. It's not. My wife loves to do this. When the movie starts, she's looking for clues.
Oh, yeah.
Like the side character that's like, well, he gets to talk like more than most side. I bet you that's the killer.
Yeah.
Like, she's big on that. I'm telling you, it's going to come back to the parking attendant. You don't do that in sports because it's not written by people. They're not trying to throw us off the scent. If something crazy happens, it's because something crazy happens. VEN-ALLEN Lubin going into the portal from UNC and saying not out loud, but tweeting in print, I'm going in with full intent on coming back, nobody worry. And then not only leaving, but going to one of your most fierce and hated rivals. Hollywood turns down that script. Hollywood goes, oh, you're just trying to amp it up. Now maybe he goes to a different school in the AC. Maybe he goes to Syracuse. No. In real life, the guy goes cross town.
Yep. Just breaking everything.
Yeah. I have quickly, because we're running out of time on the show. 5 points on VEN-ALLEN Lubin going from UNC to NC State. First point. He's a really good player. As we saw late last season, he's a really good player, and it's a position of need for State. They need really all the help they can get in the post. I don't think he's a rim protector per se, but he's somebody that can score down low. He can guard guys taller than him. I mean, obvious. I don't think Will Wade, the new coach at State, is taking players just on a whim because I want to send a message to UNC. Second of all, I do think this was a message from Will Wade to everybody else, not only in college basketball, but like in the triangle. I'm going to use Will Wade's words. In his introductory press conference, in reference to Duke and UNC, right, his triangle mates, he called them bully neighbors. His term. He's like, we have these bully neighbors. I think he wanted to, as any grandpa will tell their grandson when they're the new guy at school. You walk up to the biggest bully, you find whichever big bully you can, you walk right up to him, and you punch him in the face, and everybody's going to respect you. And I think Will Wade would have gone after Duke players in the portal, but there weren't any. Nobody left. I think he did go after, or at least rumors were that he did go after Ian Jackson in the portal, and now VEN-ALLEN Lubin may have had just one toe in the portal, and they grabbed him and dragged him through the door and brought him to State. I think it was a message. I think once they evaluated that he was a good enough player to help them, he became a priority target, right? There may have been a player, same height, same weight, same skill set, but they played last year at Arkansas. They put UNC above them.
It's different.
It's a message. We're not afraid of you.
Mm-hmm.
Third of all, I don't think he was lying. I don't think when he said he entered the portal with all intents and purposes to come back, whatever the exact wording was.
Yeah.
And I know UNC fans are going to paint that as he lied to us. And I know fandom makes you see things, through your Carolina blue-colored glasses. I think more so than ever, you shouldn't speak in absolutes because money's involved and money changes everything. Let's be real. We all have a number. In our business, I know, I grew up listening to this, not saying me, but I'm saying I know people because I would never do this. I grew up listening to this station. I love it. It's my dream job. I'm never going to leave. And then some national radio is like, hey, you know what? What if we doubled your salary and gave you moving expenses? They're like, you know what? I liked my time at that. I'm so glad I got to check off the box of working for my favorite. They just move on, which is why speaking in absolutes are kind of foolish now. I'm going into the portal. I hope to come back, but let's be real. If somebody writes a number and slides it across the table or gives me a certain promise of playing time or something, I got to do what's best for me. Just like coaches do what's best for them and administrators do what's best for them. So I don't know if it's a lie as much as I think when I said it, I believed it, and then I don't believe it anymore.
Now things are different.
The yesterday's world is not today's world. I probably shouldn't have been that definitive.
Right.
Fourth point. It's another reason the new ACC schedule stinks. Have you guys talked about this?
A little bit, yeah.
So the ACC changed from 20 ACC basketball games on a conference schedule to 18.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, you took away protected rivalries. So now every team has one protected rivalry. You play them home and away every year. It's Duke and UNC, obviously.
Yeah.
State and Wake. Then there's something called a variable partner. Variable partner is another team each year that you play twice, home and away. But that can change. When that was revealed, I went, okay, State's primary rivalry is going to be Wake, and every year it's just going to so happen that their variable partner is UNC.
Right.
And sure, Syracuse can rotate between Boston College and SMU.
Yeah.
But the variable, okay, I got it. UNC is going to play Duke every year, but then 99% of other years, no. The first year they're playing UNC's variable partner is Syracuse, State's variable partner is Virginia. That's who they're going to play home and away. Everyone else they're playing once, and there's one team each they don't play at all. It's play three teams, not this year, to make sure you get the games people want to see. But because of that, VEN-ALLEN Lubin isn't going to have to go play at UNC. He's not going to have to play in the Dean Dome.
That's crazy.
That's bad business.
I know.
Put that game on ESPN.
We need that.
Give it the top broadcast. Put it on prime time.
Game day would happen.
The crowds, the cheering, the razzing.
Yes. Everywhere.
That's what is college sports.
Mm-hmm.
His return to UNC would have been electric.
Huge.
Instead, what? Maybe they'll play in the ACC tournament, and there might be a handful of UNC fans there. Maybe a couple will work their way into the Lenovo Center, but it's still enemy territory. It's foolish.
It's a missed opportunity, for sure.
Massively missed. And fifth point, last point. This is why I can't trust y'all. Listeners, by the way, I don't know the Adam Gold Show listeners as well, so I may have come across a little aggressive there. But those that follow these teams and in the circles I'm involved with, I'm fine with fans tinting their vision to make their teams more favorable.
Sure.
However, if 2 weeks ago you were touting how awesome VEN-ALLEN LUBIN was going to be for UNC and how you're so excited to see him build off of the end of the year where he developed this skill and he showed how good he is at this thing or that other thing, and you were so excited, and then he committed to State, and now you're telling State fans he's not going to help you. You don't actually think he's going to make your team better, do you?
Right.
You lose your credibility.
Yeah.
And the same is true in reverse. If State fans were yelling at UNC fans, we're supposed to be afraid of all our transfers, our herd of new guys are supposed to be afraid of VEN-ALLEN LUBIN.
Yeah. Let me show you the receipts.
8 points, 5 points, or 5 rebounds per game he wasn't even in the rotation at some points in time. And then he commits to your school, and suddenly you're like, no, the analytics actually say that those 8 points were wildly important per game. And he is good at this, and he's good at that, and he's going to do this for us and that for us, and he's a veteran. I'm not saying you can't do it, because I'm sure every fan does it to an extent. You develop a connection to your players and you think they're better. But if you change that quickly, it just makes it so we can't trust your opinion on anything involving your favorite teams. If you show up and tell me that your favorite team is awesome this year and they're going to go, all the way and they're going to win this and they're going to win that, and I know that you just flipped on a dime when someone went to another school, I can't believe you. I just can't trust you, because I'm going to go, all right, you're seeing everything through your kind of
light blue glasses.
Yeah, your Carolina blue glasses, and it's not real.
No.
You might be right, but I'm going to have to go find somebody objective to tell me, or I'm going to have to go see with my own eyes, because I can't trust you. And that seems really mean to say to people I don't know that well. So Adam Gold Show listeners, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to all the other
all the other ones
ridiculous fans that are all about it. Last thing here. Oh, this is a reaction to the Panthers behind the scenes video, the blueprint. There's just one more that we didn't get to earlier, and I wanted to. I think Brant Tillis described it well in the video. If you haven't seen it yet, it's the blueprint. It's on YouTube. The Panthers, Carolina Panthers, put it out. State-owned propaganda, so they're going to look good. I think Brant Tillis described it well. And the term he used was like when Dan Morgan's draft gets going, this is the GM, Dan Morgan, you see his play style. Now, you remember, if you're a true Carolina Panthers fan, you remember Dan Morgan's play style, right? Ferocious, hard-hitting, bunch of tackles,
gritty,
diagnosing plays, gritty. Anything else you want to add?
I mean, just awesome, amazing, ground and pound.
And the way Tillis was using it was one when he was a linebacker, once the hole opened or he diagnosed the play, beeline, right? Tunnel vision. He's right there. The same is true for the way he drafts. Once you're within 10 picks, or once you're getting close, if it's obvious that, all right, there's one guy who we have rated way higher, it's no longer like, let's let the draft fall to us. It's, if I don't leave with that guy, my day is ruined.
Taking the bull by the horns.
If I don't get that guy on the ground, my day is ruined.
I love the aggressive.
So he goes all out, which is how you end up trading up in the second and third round for edge rushers. It's how, I described Eric Eager, their kind of quant, their analytics guys who's in the room. He starts turning around and you see him just asking, and you can see this all in the video, the blueprint. He starts asking just like, what are the chances that one of these two guys are available at our pick? And, he says 40%. And then he turns around and he's like, all right, let's make a move. Like 40% isn't even enough for him to root for. He's like, 40%? All right, let's go get him. And then it's just beeline towards the ball, right? He diagnosed the play. He saw the hole, and he's going to fly through it to make the tackle. That could be good and bad, right? Because you could end up wasting some picks and draft capital because they would have been sitting there at your pick if you were just patient. But he gets his guy. Everyone, it seems like, when he really wants somebody and it makes sense, he gets his guy. And that's important. That is, I talked about it earlier. When everybody in the building believes in you, I think that's half the battle. Because if things start to struggle, everybody doesn't go, see, I told you. That's why I wasn't sold on him.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to trade up and go get so-and-so.
It's like a plant.
Okay.
You got to give it love. I'm also a planter.
Yeah, I know. I'm right across your cubicle. I see your
you see my garden
your greenhouse, your terrarium, whatever they call them.
Yeah. If you neglect it, then
I'm not as friendly with plants right now. I have
oh gosh, yeah.
I have poison ivy all over my arms and legs from yard work this
Not
weekend.
for my plants.
So I'm not a fan of the plant society at the moment. But you're right. Like you have to nurture it, and if you like the plant, you're not going to forget to water it. If you don't like it, if it dies. I told you we shouldn't have got the thing.
Right. I haven't watered it in 8 months, but I knew it was going to happen.
Exactly. So there's the last little parting wisdom for you as I wrap up my substitute day here on the Adam Gold Show. Victoria will be back tomorrow. I will not for this show, but I will be hosting The Drive with Tim Donnelly from 3 to 6 every weekday for the foreseeable future, including today. I'm going to go make that transition right away. So if you are out of the triangle, somewhere else in a market other than the state, I encourage you to check out The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Find it on our YouTube live stream. We have regular streams. It's not hard to find. Google it. Search for it on YouTube. If you are in the triangle, just 99.9 The Fan, probably where you're listening to this. Just keep it tuned right here. I do appreciate you guys giving me the chance to hang out with you and spend some time this afternoon. There was a point in time not really that long ago where I would have done heinous things to get an hour in this market. So days like today where I get to do 6, I do not overlook it. Thank you, Victoria, for keeping this up and running, playing the music, handling the show. I'll see you next time, whenever that may be. Until tomorrow, this has been the Adam Gold Show. The Drive coming up next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and don't you know it is Tuesday? And that means Tuesday's special because it's Dinger Tuesday. How about some late-night dingers? Mets are in Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers. New York and L.A. just played in Flushing, Queens. We could do this again.